the #1 source for everything baseball. This is MLB.com Radio.
Hi, everyone, and welcome out to Scottsdale Stadium here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, as we get ready for game number 5 of the 15-game schedule that you hear exclusively on MLB.com Radio. Of course, it is the Arizona Fall League. Victor Rojas with you alongside my broadcast partner for the day, Jeff Mon, one of the many voices of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who joins me this afternoon. And, Monty, I know you have big shoes to fill, big man, because Brett Dolan was here yesterday, and he took a lot of pressure off of me.
Well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help my friend out, give you a blow when you need one, a little time on the bench if you need it. That's what friends do for each other.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to jump in, feel free. We have the Scottsdale Scorpions hosting, of course, the Mesa Desert Dogs this afternoon, and the Scorpions, right on cue, have already taken the field. So let's run down the starting lineup for Tony Beasley's visiting Mesa Desert Dogs. I'm already nervous just because you're in the booth, big man. Rich Thompson leads it off. He'll be out in right field. Freddie Bynum will bat second over at shortstop. J.R. House will be the DH today, batting third. It'll be Dan Johnson batting cleanup out of the A's organization. He's at first base. Luke Scott batting fifth in left field from the Indians. Out of the Red Sox organization, doing the catching will be Kelly Shopak. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh in center field. Very well-renowned center fielder, at least if you've read the book Moneyball. Nick Swisher out of the Oakland Athletics organization is in center field, batting seventh. Corey Smith will bat eighth over at third base out of the Indians organization. And batting ninth at second base out of the Red Sox organization, Tony Schrager. So once again, it'll be Thompson, Bynum, House, Johnson, Scott, Shopak, Swisher, Smith, and Schrager for the Mesa Desert Dogs. For the Scottsdale Scorpions, leading it off at play at second base will be Scott Hairston of the D-backs. It'll be James Loney at first base from the Dodgers. Steve Smitherman of the Reds will bat third in left field. Darnell Stenson in right field. And bat fourth, Brendan King, third baseman of the Dodgers. He'll bat fifth. Dallas McPherson batting sixth. He'll serve as the DH out of the Angels organization. Jeff Mathis does the catching. He'll bat seventh. Nick Gornial will bat eighth in center field, and Eric Bruntlett will bat ninth at short. So it'll be Hairston, Loney, Smitherman, Stenson, King, McPherson, Mathis, Gornial, and Bruntlett for the Scorpions. And getting the nod on the hill today for the Scottsdale Scorpions is T.J. Nall from the Dodgers organization. He delivers a first pitch fastball in there for strike one, and we're underway, Mr. Munn.
And some fall weather has shown up for the Arizona Fall League, which is very nice. It's been the case all week, I guess.
Yeah, it has been. And everyone, Thompson is hit by a pitch on the back of the heel, and he is on board. So Nall delivers first pitch fastball in there for a strike. Next pitch clips one. Man on at first base and nobody out. But we've been talking about the weather all week long, and I know our friends back in the Northeast just love the fact that, it is actually cooling down here. It's just about 80 degrees today.
Yeah, I have to remind myself that we got to temper our comments a little bit about that stuff.
Why? Freddie Bynum, the shortstop, steps in with a man on at first base. Thompson will run 7 of 10 down here in the AFL. Bynum pulls one fair down at first base line. Thompson will round second, head to third. Stenson cuts it off. And Thompson will pull up at third base, and Bynum at second with a double. So the Desert Dogs doing their best to put some runs on the board early here. Have runners at second and third base, and a pretty good hitter out of the Pirates organization, J.R. House, stepping in.
Victor, you talk about the book Moneyball, and with Bynum up there at the plate, one of the things, of course, if anybody's read the book, knows that's prevalent throughout that book is the philosophy within the A's of patience and trying to drag the count out. And there's Bynum, first ball swinging, and he drives one down the right field line.
Yeah, they like that on-base percentage and slugging. T.J. Nall working from the stretch. House gives this one a ride, left center field. Gornial going back. He looks up. That ball's gone. Into the berm in left center field here at Scottsdale Stadium. And just like that, a 3-0 lead for the Desert Dogs.
It looked like he got under that pitch just a little bit, but it just kept carrying and carrying. There is a pretty strong wind blowing out to left center. And it looks like that just got up in the jet stream and took off.
Well, this is the first start for T.J. Nall from the Dodgers organization. He does have an 11 1/3 innings pitched in the AFL. And came in with a 1-0 mark and a 2.3 earned run average. We'll see that rise. As He's given up 3 runs to lead off the top of the first inning as Dan Johnson, the first baseman, steps in. For House, that's his 4th home run, and now has 12 runs batted in. A 1-0 fastball down and away. 2-0 now. Johnson, another Oakland Athletic first baseman. Pretty good power, hitting .367, 3 home runs, and 23 runs batted in. Fastball away. And Nall has struggled with his control here today, at least through the first 3.5 batters. 3 balls and no strikes on Johnson. 3-0 pitch on the way. Off speed is in there. Took something off of that pitch. 3 balls and a strike.
And this at-bat following a little bit more that pattern that Billy Beane likes to see, where they're waiting pitches out, and he has the count very much in his favor.
3-1 down low, and Johnson's drawn a walk. So Nall, first batter he faced, hit by a pitch, gave up a double to Bynum, a 3-run home run to J.R. House, and now walks Dan Johnson. So still nobody out, man on at first base, and Luke Scott, out of the Cleveland Indians organization, left fielder, steps in. The Scorpions on defense, minus now Casey Kochman. If you remember, and/or were listening on Tuesday in that wild game against the Peoria Javelinas, Kochman came around third base, came up lame, had a hamstring injury, and he has been sent home. And Scott drives this one into deep right field. Stenson going back. He's at the wall. It bounces on the base of the wall. Around second is Johnson. He'll head to third, and Luke Scott is in there with a double. So the second double allowed by Nall in this inning. And the Mesa Desert Dogs have just come out swinging, as they have a collective .295 average. And there's a reason why, even though they're 1 game under 500, 11-12, they're in first place by a game in that national division. And a visit by Scorpions pitching coach Mike Butcher out of the Anaheim Angels organization out to the mound to talk to his pitcher. And not a good sign. You got somebody running down to that left field bullpen. Looks like David Gill of the Reds is probably going to start loosening up here. And we talked about it, you and I, Jeff, before the broadcast, and I talked about it on Tuesday when I had the Scorpions. Rick Burleson treats each one of these games in the Arizona Fall League as if it's the 7th game of the World Series. So Kelly Shopak steps up, swinging at the first pitch, pops it up, right side. Harrison, the second baseman, goes out in the shallow right center, makes the catch for the first out.
At any level of baseball, Victor, I think there's something to be said for playing to try to win, whether it's spring training or amateur baseball or here in the Arizona Fall League. You always have to walk that fine line in these leagues between you want to win the ball game, but you want to protect your players a little bit. You don't want to burn guys out, especially in this league where guys have already logged a pretty significant number of innings over the summer.
Yeah, more times than not, you'll get innings that just fly by because pitchers will work 1 inning unless they get into an extended situation such as this. But as was the case on Tuesday, and I would assume will be the case today, whenever you're calling a Scottsdale Scorpions game, it might take a little while. First pitch to Nick Swisher, the center fielder, missing low for ball 1. 3-0, Desert Dogs lead it. We're still in the top of the first inning, just 1 out. A little impatience there by Kelly Shopak, swinging at the first pitch, popped out. Swisher takes a pitch low. 2 balls and no strikes.
When Nall misses to this point, and it's been quite a bit, he's missing a lot low. You don't see a lot of stuff up in the strike zone.
Yep. Made the transition to starter this year with Vero Beach down to the Florida State League. 16 starts, 6-7, and a 3.42 earned run average. Ground ball right side pass to first baseman Loney into right field. Johnson's going to score. Luke Scott's being waved around. He's going to score. And it's a 5-0 Desert Dogs lead. And that should be ruled an error on the first baseman Loney. They appeal at third, thinking that Luke Scott didn't touch the base, but third base umpire Chad Fairchild said yes, he did.
There hasn't been a hit put up on the board, so I think you're right. They're going to go ahead and call that an error on the first baseman.
Just a 2-bouncer right to him. Had plenty of time hit that body in front of him. It is ruled an error. And for Scottsdale, that's the 28th error. Time is called. Nall, in the stretch situation, time is called as the third baseman Corey Smith stepped out of the box, now steps back in. Nall's first pitch, a fastball missing inside, ball one. Corey Smith from the Indians organization. A 220 average down here. A home run, 5 runs batted in. That fastball is fouled to the right side and out of play. That'll even the count at a ball and a strike.
One of the other things I'm sure that not only Rick Burleson but the Dodgers scouts and coaches want to see is whether or not T.J. Nall can work his way out of these situations, because with any pitcher, not everything's going to go as smooth as you want it to go.
Right. 1-1 pitch. That one's pulled down the left field line. Fair ball. Swisher got a late start. Doesn't run that well. Round second, heading towards third. Smitherman cuts that ball off in the corner. They'll hold Swisher at third base. And Smith is on at second with the third double of the inning. And again, the Desert Dogs sending up their 9th batter of the inning. Have runners at second and third base this time with 1 out. And T.J. Nall just getting knocked around all over the place here at Scottsdale Stadium.
One thing's for certain, and Rick Burleson's on his way out to the mound.
That's going to be it for T.J. Nall. Well, thanks for coming. 1/3 of an inning. At least he'll hit the showers early, but 5 runs on 4 hits. There was an error committed by Loney at first base. Nall is done, and Gill is coming in. We'll pause right here. Desert Dogs with runners at second and third, 1 out, as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
Fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you had a successful Major League career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm really proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot count to 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Stearns. And Stearns cut off mascot. Now that's
teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund. A partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, visit baseballtomorrowfund.com.
Oh, welcome back out to Scottsdale Stadium. It's 5-0. Desert Dogs leading the Scottsdale Scorpions. Pitching change has been made for Scottsdale. Right-hander David Gill out of the Cincinnati Reds organization steps in place of T.J. Nall, who lasted just 1/3 of an inning, gave up 4 hits, walked 1. And he's responsible for the 5 runs already on the board and the 2 runners that are on base. As Tony Schrager, the second baseman, steps in and lines one deep to left field. Smitherman going back. He looks up. It's off the wall. 1 run comes in. Here comes Smith scoring from second base, and what do you know? Schrager, a 2 RBI double. That's the 4th double of the inning. This is crazy.
And on the first pitch, too.
Yeah, not wasting any time.
Somebody's been studying their scouting reports.
Well, you can close the book on T.J. Nall. 1/3 of an inning, 7 runs. And that's not good. So Rich Thompson, who led off the ball game about 15 minutes ago, getting hit by a pitch, steps in. A left-handed batter, very good speed. King playing back at third base. Thompson fouls one back and out of play for strike one.
Gill's a big kid, 6'4", 215. He goes into his motion. You see those arms flailing everywhere. Nice and fluid, but boy, what a big kid.
Yep. Out of the University of Miami, down in Florida. Schrager leads off at second. The 0-1 pitch to Thompson. That one came inside. Didn't miss him by much. One ball and one strike. Freddie Bynum awaits on deck. This is a big ballpark, as we talked about yesterday. 360 down left field, 430 dead center, and 340 down the right field line. Thompson slaps one down the left field line, slicing away from Smitherman. He'll make the catch on the run near the foul line. Schrager has to hurry back to second base. Smitherman, a good throw to Hairston at second, but to no avail. And now there are two outs for Freddie Bynum.
You're not going to see a lot of home runs to straightaway center in this ballpark. 430 to the fence in straightaway center with a batter's eye. So if you want to hit one that far, you don't need a bat, you need a cannon.
Andres Galarraga territory.
That's it, exactly it.
Pitch to Bynum, missing low, ball one. Bynum, 1 for 1 already. Doubled with a run scored. 7-0. Desert Dogs lead it. Top of the first. That pitch catches the corner. Evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
I remember the first time Bynum was up, he was first ball swinging. And now he's taken 2 pitches here. Probably a lot more patient the second time around.
Gill comes set. Checks the runner, the 1-1. That ball missing inside. 2 balls and a strike. Bynum, because he was swinging first pitch in that first AB, we didn't get a chance to tell you out of the Oakland Athletics organization. A 233 average down here, a home run. And 3 runs batted in. Schrager leads off at second base. Good sized lead over there. 2-1 pitch. That one's driven into left center field. Nobody's going to get this one. Smitherman giving chase. It's going to fall in there. Schrager comes around to score. Around second is Bynum. He's going to try for 3. The relay throw. No relay throw. And Bynum is in there with an RBI triple. And Freddie Bynum is 2 for 3 with a double and a triple here in the first.
He's already had a full day.
So make it 8-0 Desert Dogs. And oh boy, do you wish you had the mercy rule after 5.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful again because the big man J.R. House steps in. House 1 for 1, 3-run jack earlier this inning. Gill will work from the stretch with Bynum at third. Fastball away. 1 ball on those strikes.
I would suspect that they'll try to keep that ball away from House as much as they can because he gets something to turn on. Like we said, that wind is still a pretty steady breeze out toward left center. That's how he got that first pitch, that first at-bat that he drove the ball out of the ballpark.
1-0, come inside just to brush him back. Keep him honest there. And Gill has fallen behind, 2 balls and no strikes. Seven runs in on 6 hits. Is that pitch missing low? And Gill has struggled with his control as well. Falling behind House now, 3 balls and no strikes. And as you can hear in the background, Superfan is here in attendance. Superfan's everywhere. Superfan is everywhere. That pitch caught the corner, 3 balls and a strike on J.R. House. And if you're not familiar with the spring training surroundings and or the Arizona Diamondbacks, you won't know who Superfan is. But those of you who do follow the D-backs absolutely know. 3-1 inside. Ball 4. And House is on board. Second walk issued in the inning by Scorpions pitchers. First one by Gill. That'll give Scottsdale runners at the corners with 2 outs. And a pretty good hitter in Dan Johnson stepping in.
I think one thing Gill was not going to do was make a mistake right down the heart of the plate. If he was going to miss or if he was going to give up the at-bat to J.R. House, he was going to do it by locating outside the strike zone.
Gill gets his shot, comes set, first pitch to Johnson. He pulls one just foul, wide of the bag at first. Stenson will chase that one down in the right field corner. No ball boys or ball girls here in the Arizona Fall League.
Should all be in school.
So players have to retrieve their own equipment. God forbid. But it happens. Still is the minor leagues. 0-1 pitch, fastball in. 1 ball and a strike.
Or you could go the route of the Diamondbacks and use Golden Glovers.
You could. What do they call them up in San Francisco?
Old.
Wow. Sorry. 1-1 pitch, off speed, down and away. 2 balls and a strike on a left-hand hitting first baseman Johnson, who walked his first time up. Came around to score. Johnson, the 13th hitter to bat here in the top of the first inning. Desert Dogs leading at 8-0. 2-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball, checked the swing, fouled it back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oh, Peter Durfee calls the balls and strikes this afternoon. Casey Mosier at first base. It's Don Goller at second and Chad Fairchild rounding out the wonderful umpiring crew we have here this afternoon. 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball chopped to the right side. Hairston backs up a little bit. He's got it. Throws on the first, and this inning is finally over. But not before the Desert Dogs put 8 runs on the board on 6 hits. There was 1 error, and they strand 2. We head to the bottom of the first, 8-0. Desert Dogs lead it. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks to sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure. To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it.
Bottom of the first inning here in Scottsdale Stadium, 8-0. Desert Dogs lead it. Victor Rojas alongside my broadcast partner this afternoon, Jeff Munn. As the Scorpions come up, already trailing it by 8. And Scott Hairston will lead it off out of the Diamondbacks organization, facing the right-hander Charlie Zink. And Zink, a member of the Boston Red Sox franchise, a knuckleballer. A la Tim Wakefield. First knuckleball missing low, ball 1.
I think he's wearing the same number as Wakefield, too.
Probably wouldn't surprise me. That is for sure. But Zink, a nice kid. I had a chance to talk to him the other day. As a matter of fact, today, later on today, we'll have Ryan Dobit, catcher out of the Pirates organization, as well as Dustin Nippert, one of the pitchers, bright young pitchers in the Diamondbacks organization. They'll join us here in the booth, and we'll get to chat with them a little bit about their experience down here. Another knuckleball missing away. 3 balls and no strike on Hairston. A kid that many feel is just about ready to get the call up to the big leagues as far as offensively, hitting .390 here in the AFL. Fastball in there, 3 balls and a strike.
You're starting to see the impact now the last couple of years, Victor, of what it means to have a big league franchise in your hometown. Fans here are following the progress of these minor leaguers, and Hairston's one of them they're following closely.
3-1, swing and a miss on the knuckleball. And the count has run full to 3-2.
Of course, here for years, there was a minor league club, the AAA affiliate of the Giants, and it was just the opposite. You would have a player that was doing well, and you knew that sooner or later they were going to be gone.
Sure. Payoff pitch on the way, knuckleball missing high. Hairston is on board. Leadoff walk.
I know it's not possible really to pick up a pattern on knuckleballs, but I noticed there on each of the pitches that he threw Hairston that it would start out around Hairston's eyes and then break down and away.
Well, I had a chance to talk to Charlie Zink, I believe it was 2 days ago at Mesa. And he says he's having a lot of troubles here in the dry climate. He's got a 1-2 mark and a 6.48 earned run average. This is a kid that had 2 near no-hitters this year, both at Double-A, one going in 8 2/3 of an inning before a bloop single to left center field. So the knuckleball works, and he's got great movement on it, but he has struggled. And what he has said was, as that pitch misses low and inside, 2 balls and no strikes on James Loney, is that whereas he used to just throw it to the center of the plate and wherever it broke, that's where it broke, here, because of the dry climate, he's got to look for spots and try to hit his spots. So he's a little bit concerned of the fact that he has to change his release point a little bit in trying to locate a knuckleball. And we all know that that's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
It's almost contradictory.
Sure. 2-0 is fouled back to the screen, 2 balls and a strike. But, I mean, he had a very good season this past year. Actually, split time while in that Red Sox organization. Starting off in Sarasota, going 7-9, 19 starts and a 3.90 earned run average. That pitch missed outside, 3 balls and a strike. And then at Double-A Portland, he ended up going 3-2 and a 3.43 ERA in 6 games. Hairston stole second base, so Scorpions with a man on in scoring position now. 3-1 pitch is in there. And the count has run full to 3-2. Hairston's steal of second base was uncontested. That's his second stolen base of the AFL. Zink sets, payoff pitch on the way, outside, ball 4. So Zink has started at the bottom of the first off with 2 consecutive walks, even though he's got an 8-0 lead.
There was an awful lot of talk, Victor, during the ALCS about the success of Tim Wakefield, and people were asking, why don't more pitchers try throwing a knuckleball? Well, I think you see an example from what you've talked about, the struggles that Zink is having in this dry climate, and the fact that first 2 batters come up, they're issued walks. Number one, as you said, not everybody can throw one, and even when you can throw one, you can never really get to a point where you say you've mastered it.
Sure. A unique story with Zink is the fact that he was a normal, everyday type of pitcher. Fastball, curveball, changeup, pitching in the independent leagues. And Steve Smitherman pops one up shallow left field. Nick Swisher comes over, the center fielder, makes the catch for the first out. But as I was saying, 1 out now with runners at first and second for Darnell Stenson. But 2 years ago, after he was signed, he was messing around in the outfield playing catch with the trainer. Decided to throw a knuckleball and hit the trainer in the chest. Completely missed the glove and hit the trainer in the chest. So the roving pitching instructor saw him as he tells the story. He says, why don't you throw that again? Sure enough, did it again. Hit the trainer in the chest again. They got the trainer out of there. They brought in a fellow pitcher. Why don't you throw another one? This time it hit the tip of the glove of the pitcher and hit him in the eyebrow. So later on that last season, they had him throwing that knuckleball 0-2 as a strikeout pitch. Stenson lines one to right field. Thompson's got it. Hairston was between second and third, so he's got a hold up there. But now there are 2 outs, first and second, for Brennan King. So all he was doing last year was throwing the knuckleball only when he was at 0-2 count in a strikeout situation to try to, as a strikeout pitch.
Yeah.
And in this spring training, they had him go exclusively. They had him working with Wakefield exclusively with the knuckleball. And he's already said they have him coming in early, penciled to come in early next spring training to work with Wakefield.
You notice that most guys who throw a knuckleball, they all come by it by accident, or most do, because either something hasn't worked in their regular repertoire of pitches. You also hear stories.
Hairston started for second, third base, pardon me, before Zink even broke his hands. Zink never even gave him a look. And that just tells you, anyways, that Zink is just working on his control, not worried about the runners. The Scorpions was runners at second and third base, and an 0-2 count on Brennan King. 0-2 pitch pulled foul wide of the bag at third.
What I was going to say was you also hear stories about position players who maybe get injured or struggling a bit in the minor leagues, and they start fooling around with it. And all of a sudden, now you got a knuckleball pitcher.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, he was about ready to hang him up. He was going to go out and try to become a professional golfer because he's a scratch golfer. That's not bad.
No.
And now I can throw a knuckleball, so I think I might stick around a little bit longer.
He's working on the golf game now.
Yep, 0-2 upstairs.
You're a scratch golfer. You shouldn't put those clubs away for too long.
Nope. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Brennan King of the Dodgers organization. Desert Dogs dropped an 8 spot in the top half of the first. We're in the bottom of the first. 1-2 pitch on, knuckleball upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I was watching the Nationwide Tour event last night on television and seeing some of those guys. And there's some pretty good golfers out there, and it's supposedly the minor leagues of golf. They're pulling down some pretty good coins.
Sure they are. 2-2 pitch, fouled off. King just barely got a piece of it. Kind of lunged out towards that knuckleball. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'm a scratch golfer, too. Every time I drive, I scratch my head and think, oh, where did that thing go?
That one's too easy.
Thanks for setting me up, partner.
No problem. King at 286 average, a home run. 5 runs batted in down here. Getting the start over at third base. 2-2 pitch on the way. Knuckleball pulled foul. Off that protected screen along the third base dugout. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You think about the great knuckleball pitchers of just the last 30 years, the guys like Wilbur Wood, Charlie Huff, Phil Necro, of course. They not only had the knuckleball, but they could mix in a very good fastball just to keep you really on your heels.
The 2-2 on the way. Fastball fouled back to the screen. So Zink's just trying to keep him honest there. King the hero in Tuesday's ballgame against Peoria. An RBI single in the bottom of the 9th inning capped the second consecutive 5-run inning for the Scorpions as they battled from a 14-4 deficit to win at 15-14. King pops one up, shallow right field. Thompson, the right fielder, still coming on, and he'll make the catch on the run. So after walking the first 2 batters, he retires the next 3 on fly ball outs. Nothing doing for Scottsdale. We've played 1 inning here from Scottsdale Stadium, 8-0. Desert Dogs lead it. You're listening to AFL Action live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Derek Teeter. When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard every weekend and play ball. They'd teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing could get better. And if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. But there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Helping your kids find a dream can help keep them off drugs. This message brought to you by Partnership for Drug-Free America. Visit us at drugfreeamerica.org.
Avoid going into spring training wondering where the free agents have landed and what your team looks like heading into the 2004 season. Let MLB.com radio keep you informed with our Hot Stove Report. Mainstays Seth Everett, Billy Sample, and Jonathan Mayo bring you the most up-to-date information while they chat with general managers, scouts, and those inside. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean we stop thinking baseball. The Hot Stove Report, found only at MLB.com radio.
Hi, this is Tommy Lasorda. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my good friend Ben Platt for the great interviews he does on MLB.com radio.
Well, thank you, Tommy. You know, I try to interview everyone in baseball, from Hall of Famers like you to the new stars just coming on the scene, every morning on the Baseball Breakfast with Billy Sample and Jonathan Mayo, and afternoons on deck with Seth Everett and Victor Rojas.
Hey, Ben, one thing I don't get is, what's this Benny P stuff?
Tommy, it's just a radio nickname they gave me back in the station.
Benny P this, Benny P that. You weren't Benny P 10 years ago when you started out covering the Dodgers. I'm one of the few guys that knew you when you were poor. Man, I thought you were going to soil yourself every time you did an interview with me.
Man, last year he accused me of starting the Kingman interview, now this. The Benny P. interviews, exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Benny P., what a joke.
Well, Luke Scott took a fastball in there to lead off the top of the second inning. Desert Dogs leading at 8-0. David Gill, the pitcher now, a record for the Scottsdale Scorpions. Delivers another fastball on the corner, this time called strike two. Luke Scott, 1-for-1, double with a run scored in the first. Fastball away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gorgeous day here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I tell you what, just low humidity, about 82 degrees. Slight breeze blowing out towards left center field. Doesn't get much better than this. 1-2, high fastball fouled off. Couldn't hang on to it. The catcher, Jeff Mathis, would have been a punch-out.
You don't even get days like this in spring training.
No.
Because there's a lot of days when it's cold.
It's almost too cold in spring training.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had spent the last couple of off seasons, of course, in the New York metropolitan area. Scott pops one up on the infield. Second baseman Hairston going towards the bag. The shortstop, though, Bruntley calls him off, and he'll make the catch, oddly enough, on the second base side for the first out.
That wind's still whipping around, blowing out toward left center, and it's probably pushing the ball around a little bit when it gets popped up like that. That, and you've got a halfway funky-looking sky today with the smoke a little bit still in the air from the California fires and a few clouds, and it's a tough sky.
Shopak, the catcher, fouls off the first pitch he sees. Shopak has seen 2 pitches in 2 at-bats. He's popped out, and he's fouled one back. 0-1 the count out of the Red Sox organization. He's hacking. And that ball hit him. Gill trying to run the fastball on the inside part of the plate. Pitch clipped him on the left elbow. That's the second hit batter we've had in this ballgame for Mesa. And that'll give the Desert Dogs a man on at first base with 1 out for Nick Swisher. Well, this is the 5th game of the 15 we will call here from the Arizona Fall League. So week 1 will be complete with the final of this game. We'll be back at it again Monday afternoon, Grand Canyon, right here at Scottsdale Stadium, taking on the Scorpions, 3 o'clock Eastern Time on MLB.com radio. And, of course, it all culminates on Saturday, November 15th, a championship game. We saw an exciting game last year, although there was no pitching. Swisher, ground ball to right side. Hairston to Bruntlett for 1, on to first in time in the ending double play. Nice job by Hairston and Bruntlett to turn 2. Nothing doing for the Desert Dogs here in their half of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no men left on base. We head to the bottom of the second. 8-0 Desert Dogs. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in the score, and Cepeda pulling the second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-HALL-OF-FAME.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings, off-season moves on the Hot Stove Shows, and get updates on winter leagues and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Number one baseball source all year long, this is MLB.com radio. Bottom of the second inning we go. 8-0 Desert Dogs leading the Scottsdale Scorpions. The battle of two teams, virtually the same as far as their records are concerned. Mesa comes in 11-12, yet they're in first place in that national division as they lead that division by 1. Scorpions, on the other hand, 12-11, second place in the American division as they trail the Mesa Solar Sox by 3.5 games. Solar Sox leading, of course, the American division with a 16-8 mark. Peoria Saguaros bringing up the rear, 12-12, 4 games back. Desert Dogs leading Grand Canyon Raptors by a game, and the Peoria Javelinas 5-5. Scorpions with a 6-game winning streak on the line as they trail at 8-0. Dallas McPherson, the designated hitter this afternoon for Scottsdale, takes a knuckleball inside for ball 1. McPherson, one that many say is a legit prospect as far as the Angels are concerned over at third base. They've had a couple of them down here. Jeff Mathis, according to Baseball America, the number 2 catcher in the minor leagues this past season, of course, excluding 2003 draft picks. He's got the start today. And the kid behind the plate, Chopak, for the Red Sox, number 5. And the young man that's going to join us a little while later, Ryan Domet, number 7. So there's a lot of good talent out here. That pitch was in there, 3 balls and a strike on McPherson. Casey Kochman, as we said earlier, another Angels prospect, was sent home because of a hamstring injury as McPherson swings and misses on the knuckleball. Full count down, 3 balls and 2 strikes. McPherson struggling down here, $197, a home run, 6 runs batted in. Knuckleball fouled off. Actually, it wasn't fouled off. It shoots off the glove of Chopak all the way to the backstop, and McPherson will reach on the pass ball. Strikeout, pass ball. And McPherson is on board to lead off the bottom of the second inning for Scottsdale.
And there you see one of the problems with the knuckleball. Catcher's going to get crossed up a lot, and used to be the catchers had a special mitt, and I don't know if they still wear one, to catch knuckleballers exclusively. It's almost like a first baseman's mitt. That pitch is in there to Jeff Mathis, the catcher. Strike 1. Yeah, it's almost like a first baseman's mitt. I had one, I guess, the pleasure of catching Charlie Huff. But, it's one of those things. If you throw it easy enough, you can kind of sit back a little bit as Mathis gives this one a jolt into left field, but Scott, the left fielder, has got a beat on it, makes a catch. McPherson has to retreat back to first base. 1 out now for Nick Gordio. What they say, at least that I was told when I was trying to catch it, was just relax the left hand and try to stab at it at the last moment when you're able to see the last break. Of course, that doesn't really matter on occasions because the pitch virtually unpredictable as far as location is concerned. Cornell, the center fielder out of the Anaheim Angels organization, takes a pitch upstairs for ball 1. Want to know count on Cornell. With 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. There goes the runner from first. Swing and a miss. A throw down by Chopak right at the bag. And he gunned him down. McPherson retired 2-4 for the second out.
Good strong throw by Chopok.
Yeah, any punch-outs of guys trying to steal bases today, especially with Zink on the mound, it's going to go to Chopok because obviously a knuckleball doesn't get up there in a hurry. And a base runner attempting to steal can get a pretty good jump. So you're right, a very good throw, and it's all on the shoulders of Chopok to get that out.
1-1 pitch is a ground ball left side. Smith, the third baseman's got it, throws across in time for the third out. So nothing doing for Scottsdale here in their half of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no men left on base. We played 2. Desert Dogs lead it 8-0. You're listening to AFL Action live on MLB.com radio.
This is Andy Pettit of the New York Yankees. It's never easy to stand your ground when facing the best hitters in the game, but with practice, you gain confidence. To teach values that go beyond the diamond, Major League Baseball charities and Boys and Girls Clubs of America have teamed up to bring baseball and softball to kids around the world. Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, boys and girls learn about teamwork, fair play, and respect. Because when kids believe in themselves, amazing things can happen.
Hi, this is Victor Rojas from Scottsdale, Arizona. 1 week down in the Arizona Fall League, and the action continues here on MLB.com radio on Monday, November 3rd, as the Grand Canyon Raptors visit the Scottsdale Scorpions at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. So be sure to tune us in right after that Major League Baseball Roundtable, which is a big league show, I might add. I'll be here from Scottsdale Stadium, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. If you have any emails, send them on in to radio@MLB.com as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Get the perfect gift for the baseball fan in your life at MLB Shop on MLB.com. You can purchase jackets, jerseys, caps, and clothes for men, women, and children. Get a snappy new batting practice jersey or a classic replica jersey of your favorite team. You can even customize your jersey. Best of all, it can all be done online. Plus, the MLB Shop has baseball cards, bobblehead dolls, books, videos, and so much more. All purchases are private and secure, and the MLB Shop accepts all major credit cards. Click on the MLB Shop button at the top right of MLB.com and get that perfect gift today.
Ravens, we've got bandits at 1 o'clock.
Fights on.
Engaging now.
What kind of person can handle an F-16 dueling in a Mach speed dogfight? Why, a math teacher, of course, when she's in the National Guard and Reserve. Nearly half of today's military are members of the Guard and Reserve, but they can't do it without their employer support. If you're an employer, visit www.esgr.org and learn how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours. A public service message from ESGR and the Ad Council.
At top of the third inning we go. Corey Smith, out of the Cleveland Indians organization, third baseman, has a no-ball, 2-strike count against David Gill. Victor Rojas alongside Jeff Munn. As Smith chops one foul up the third base side, and we're joined in the booth by Arizona Diamondbacks prospect pitcher Dustin Nippert. And Dustin, thanks for joining us here. And can't complain, right? The weather's awfully nice here, isn't it? The only reason I brought up the weather is because you actually came in and said, wow, the weather's really nice here. And I thought I'd bring it up because the folks back in New York, of course, suffering with the cold and that wintry weather starting to set in. You having a good time down here in Arizona? This is pretty good area, number one, as far as the nightlife is concerned. And number two, being able to go up against some pretty good prospects of the minor leagues, it pretty much tells you that you've got some legit stuff, and the organization thinks highly of you. Well, Smith was retired for the first out, so one out here in the third inning. Everyone talked about, as far as last year is concerned, that the Diamondbacks struggled as far as their minor league talent. Now, this year, because of the emergence of all the guys at the major league level, also the Diamondbacks minor league system is one of the best in baseball. You're a part of that. That's got to make you feel pretty good. Now, what's the one thing that you're working on down here as far as getting your work in? I know you have a good fastball, good hard breaking ball. Many have likened you, I guess, to Randy Johnson to a certain extent. I know that's a pretty tough comparison, but I mean, that's got to make you feel good to a certain extent. Not bad. 3 up and 3 down for David Gill. We're going to pause right here, come back, and we'll still talk with Dustin Nifford a little bit more about his experience down here in the Arizona Fall League. We head to the bottom of the third inning, 8-0. Desert Dogs lead it. You're listening to AFL Action live on MLB.com radio.
Right now, fall is in full color at Kohl's. Kohl's has all the brands your family loves, like Nike, Levi's, Dockers, Mudd, Lee, Oshkosh, and many more. Every size, every color, fully stocked. And with Kohl's great sale prices, you can bundle up without spending a bundle. Plus, you'll enjoy Kohl's hassle-free returns, stroller carts, easy checkouts, and storefront parking. So come on in and see what's new for fall at Kohl's. Kohl's. Shop happy, leave happy.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Bottom of the third inning we go, 8-0. As the knuckleballer Charlie Zink concludes his warm-up tosses. We're joined in the booth, of course, with Diamondbacks prospect Dustin Nifford, who was talking so loud he blew out our microphone, and now we've got that corrected. So you can't do stuff like that when you come up to the AFL, especially the big league. That's tough. I'm telling you, we have this producer named Leo Gilmartin. You'll learn his name, trust me. All right. Because he is everywhere. So as far as the experience down here, what you're working on, and being able to work with some of the best talent as far as the minor leagues are concerned, one thing that I've always thought was kind of odd, at least this year, is getting used to the different philosophies. You got a different manager, Rick Burleson, from one organization, the pitching coaches from another organization. How difficult is it for you or for anybody that plays down here in the Arizona Fall League to get accustomed to new guys with different types of philosophies?
It's hard at first when we all came together. Nobody really knew each other and what to expect, but then Burleson and Butch, our pitching coach, they just kind of came up and talked to us individually and asked what we were doing and how we approached the game, and they kind of adapted to us and would accommodate us to how they needed to, and then how we needed to pitch and play the game. So it hasn't been that hard, but it's just kind of different at first, playing with all the different teams and stuff like that. But now we're on a 6-game winning streak. We're a little behind right now. Well, we'll see if we can come back and pick it up.
Dustin, you talk about what you need to do during this fall league campaign. I know in talking to the director of minor league operations, Tommy Jones of the Diamondbacks yesterday, he's raved about your work here in the fall league. What was some of the things that the club wanted you to work on during this campaign?
My changeup was the big one. I needed a third pitch, and the changeup was working in good for that. So I've been lucky enough to have guys on the team, like from different programs, have showed me different ways to hold it, and then now I just got to go out and trust myself and throw it. And then when I get guys on base out of the stretch, my times are slow to the plate, and guys are just running on me all day. So I quickened that up a little bit, and now I'm starting to throw my changeup. So I'm enjoying myself out here and just trying to have a good time and finish up strong.
Yeah, you've had 22 innings of work here, and the ERA is a little bit over 4 now. As Bruntlett just walked to lead off the bottom of the third, so nobody out, top of the order. And Scott Hairston, a guy that you're somewhat familiar with at the Diamondbacks organization. It's got to make you guys feel good. I know I keep harping on this stuff. The Angels have a ton of prospects down here. You look at the A's. Everybody's got prospects down here. What do you think sets apart one guy from the next down here? I mean, is this a league that have you felt in the last couple of weeks that you can tell guys are going to be major leaguers coming out of this league?
Yeah, more than likely. That's what they told us when we came in here, that this is the future competition that we'll be facing if we're fortunate enough to make it to the major league level. So just come in here and just like get to know everybody and just face this kind of competition, because that's what we'll be facing down the road, and just see how we do up against these kind of hitters and pitchers and stuff like that. So yeah, most of these guys on our team I think will eventually be there, but who knows? I mean, anything can happen, so we'll just have to wait and see and find out down the road.
Now, do you feel any additional pressure, or any of the guys that you've talked to from the Diamondbacks organization, to perform or at least exceed expectations here in Scottsdale because your ball club is here in Phoenix, and all these, Joe Garagiola and Tommy Jones and all those guys are right here, drive away?
Yeah, they're all right here, but I mean, if you look down in the crowd right now, most of the people in the crowd are scouts. So I mean, everybody has guys here, and everybody has people watching them. So I think you just got to go out there and just try to block it out and not pay attention to that kind of stuff, and just go out and play your game. And if they like you, and if you have something to improve on, then they'll tell you that too. So just go out and play your game.
I'll tell you one thing though, with the difference here, when you've got guys raving about you like Tommy Jones, he comes right back to the office and tells everybody who works in the office how great you are. So you're getting a lot of fans down at the Diamondbacks offices already because we're getting daily reports right from the man who knows.
That's good. I appreciate that.
You got a twin brother, Derek, who is also a member of the Diamondbacks. I think he pitched 13 or played 13 games. Pitched, right?
Yeah, he's pitched.
13 games in Missoula, which is short season, of course. And the story goes that your grandparents have trouble telling you guys apart. Is that true? Are you guys that?
Yeah, they can't tell us apart. They sometimes call me Derek. I just look at my grandma and be like, Grandma, I'm not Derek. She goes like, oh, I'm sorry. It's all fun though.
That should make it interesting in a big league clubhouse someday.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of fun.
If it were to happen.
Yeah,
make a little money on bets.
Sure.
Yeah, this year in spring training will be kind of interesting. Guys I won't have a clue who we are, so it'll be fun.
There's nothing wrong with that. Scott Harrison grounded into a double play, and James Loney has just walked. Now 2 outs here in the third. As Smitherman pops one up behind the home plate area. Chopak gives chase, but it almost hits the dude in the head. He couldn't get out of the way there.
He wasn't following that real close, was he?
Stacey Flores, the director of PR for the AFL, almost had to put out a press release, so someone just got plucked in the dome, but luckily he's all right. No ball and a strike here on Smitherman. Other than the season you had, which was fantastic, what are your expectations going into next spring training?
I really don't have any expectations. I just want to go in and be ready to play this year. I'm moving back out here in middle of January because back east in Ohio it's still snowing until March. So
because the weather's better out here.
Yeah, it's a lot better out here. And get out here so I can throw and just go into spring training whatever team they put me on. I just want to do the best I can and hopefully just make the roster and then just pitch good. So I really don't have any expectations going into the next spring training.
Sure, and no big shoes to fill either. Brandon Webb didn't set the bar too high, neither did Edgar Gonzalez or Chris Capuano. None of those guys, right?
No, they didn't set any outlandish goals or anything, but we'll see going into next year.
Well, Dustin, we wish you nothing but the very best. Thanks for joining us here. Good luck to you the rest of the season here in the AFL, and we'll see you in spring training.
Oh, thank you.
You got it. That's Dustin Nippert of the Arizona Diamondbacks, our guest in the booth here, and we still have an 8-0 lead by the Desert Dogs, 2 outs. A man over at first base, and of course that's James Loney. Smitherman has a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Zink, the knuckleballer, will come set, and that 3-1 pitch is in there. And with the count full of 2 outs, that'll get Loney going over at first base.
Very quietly, Zink has had a nice little run here, aside from the bases on balls, 2 of which he's thrown in this inning. He's very quietly going about his business here through the front 3.
Knuckleball on the way. Actually, that fastball. He's tried to sink that fastball in the upper part of the strike zone. Smitherman was able to get a piece of it and foul one back and out of play.
You know, one thing about that guy that almost got hit by the foul pop, he didn't go after the ball. Once it landed, he just let a young fan go after it and pick up a souvenir.
And that's the beauty of the Arizona Fall League, too, is that you basically have 1 foul ball for every fan in attendance. Another payoff pitch is a knuckleball. This was driven deep to left center field. Swisher's going back, still going back, looks up, gone. Off the base of the scoreboard in deep left center field. And the Scottsdale Scorpions are on the board. A 2-run shot by Steven Smitherman. Makes it an 8-2 deficit. That ball was crushed.
That's the Munn curse at work again. I had just mentioned that Zink was motoring along, and what do you know?
That is Smitherman's 3rd home run of the Arizona Fall League. RBIs number 17 and 18. The Scorpions finally get on the board here in the 3rd. And that'll bring up Darnell Stenson. Stenson also from the Reds organization, a left-handed batter. Takes the ball downstairs. Stenson 0 for 1, flew out to right field. His first time up. Stenson pulls one foul. deep to right field, but out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. A nice kid, that Dustin Nippert.
Very nice. Very nice young man.
They groom him well down on that Diamondbacks farm.
They do indeed. He got a chance to play this summer in South Bend.
He's a big dude.
Gotta be, yeah.
Stetson pops one up left side of the infield. Bynum, the shortstop, calling everybody off. Going out towards shallow left, makes the catch for the 3rd out, but not before Steven Smitherman puts the Scorpions on the board with his 3rd home run, a 2-run shot. As we played 3 innings from Scottsdale, it's 8-2. Desert Dogs lead it. You're listening to AFL Action Live on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks to sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure. To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it.
Top of the 4th inning we go. Freddie Bynum has a 2-ball, no-strike count against the right-hander David Deal. Victor Rojas alongside Jeff Munn. And Jeff Munn is about ready to do some play-by-play. So take it over, big man.
Thank you so much, my broadcast partner. As Bynum climbs in there with a count of 3 balls and no strikes, Dave Gill, who came on in the first inning in relief of the starter Nall, he delivers a pitch in there for a strike, and it's 3-1. Bynum has already had a pretty good day. If he didn't do anything else, he can still feel pretty good. Doubled and scored and tripled, both in the first inning. There's a high fly ball into right field. Moving over a few steps is Stenson. He's under it and makes the catch, 1 down.
I think Gill has done a nice job of coming on. When he came on in relief in that first inning, struggled. But really, after that, in the second and the third, outside of the hit batter of Kelly Shopak, has done a nice job getting ahead, throwing strikes.
Now J.R. House, the batter, he had a 3-run homer as part of that 8-run first inning. The second time he came up in the inning, he was walked by Gill, who was pitching him very carefully, and he delivers a fastball high. 8 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Desert Dogs. 2 runs on 1 hit. That a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 3rd for Scottsdale. And now the 1-0 pitch, and that's swung on and fouled back toward the plate, or toward the screen, I should say. Scottsdale Stadium, one of many spring training sites in Arizona. Seeing players in Angels uniforms out here reminds me of a story that about knocked me over this morning when I was looking at the paper. As Gill delivers a pitch grounded down the third baseline, foul. The Anaheim Angels have informed the city of Tempe that when their current lease expires, they will be leaving. And as shocked as I was to see that, that doesn't even begin to express the shock that the city of Tempe felt when they read the letter.
Yeah, they're getting ready. They've already gotten $10 million approved for renovations to Tempe Diablo.
There's another foul toward the third base dugout occupied by the Scorpions. And the count 1-2 I was thinking the other day that a lot of this shifting of franchises in the spring and teams moving from Florida to Arizona had pretty much died down, save for the Rangers and Royals moving out here this last season. House checks his swing. It's a strike, and down he goes. So the second strikeout recorded by Dave Gill, 2 down in the fourth. And Dan Johnson will be the batter with the bases empty.
You know, the ironic part was in reading that article, Jeff, was how the city of Tempe's already gone out and made contact with other ball clubs. You know, the White Sox share the complex at Tucson Electric Park with the Diamondbacks down in Tucson. Jerry Reinsdorf apparently is going to meet with Tempe officials on Monday. Some other teams that were mentioned, the Mariners were mentioned, the Rockies, who play down at High Corbett in Tucson, and the Royals. And I'm like, how could the Royals be considered? They just signed an agreement for a brand-new facility at Surprise.
3 of those teams, it makes no sense to me. The White Sox, even though you're sharing a facility, they've got a lot of things down there that they wished for when they moved out to Tucson back in '98. Johnson grounds one foul outside of first, and the count 1-2. Royals, I agree with you. I don't know where that's coming from. The Mariners, same thing. Now, they share a facility with the Padres in Peoria, but there's nothing wrong with that place.
No.
Now, the Rockies, on the other hand, there might be some juice to that rumor. Johnson lines one into right field. It'll drop in for a base hit. A nice liner to right off the bat of Johnson puts a runner at first with 2 down for Luke Scott. And Dan Johnson has reached base twice, a first-inning walk, and here a fourth-inning single. The Rockies, and I know you know this from your travels last spring, play in an ancient ballpark down in Tucson, High Corbett Field, and it is just the stadium and nothing else.
Right.
There are no practice facilities adjacent to High Corbett. So I'm sure the Rockies might be interested in a complex like Diablo that does have a lot of other practice diamonds along with the main stadium. Scott checks his swing and takes low and appealed at third and no swing, says the third base umpire, Chad Fairchild.
And for those of you that are curious about High Corbett Field, that was the stadium in which the movie Major League was filmed.
Ah, yes. One of my favorite films, baseball or otherwise. Now the 1-0 pitch, and that's swung on and missed. It's 8-2 Desert Dogs as we play in the top of the fourth. Scottsdale with bullpen activity, or at least there was for a moment. As Dave Gill is into his third inning of work after pitching just a couple of days ago.
The right-hander Brian Stefik from the Dodgers starting to loosen.
There's a high fly ball into deep center. Backing up on it is Nall. He's in front of the track and makes the catch, and the side is retired. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left at the end of 3.5. It's the Desert Dogs 8 and the Saguaros 2, and you're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball on MLBRadio.com.
I'm Derek Jeter. When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard every weekend and play ball. They teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing could get better. But if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. But there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Helping your kids find a dream can help keep them off drugs. This message brought to you by Partnership for Drug-Free America. Visit us at drugfreeamerica.org.
Avoid going into spring training wondering where the free agents have landed and what your team looks like heading into the 2004 season. Let MLB.com radio keep you informed with our Hot Stove Report. Mainstays Seth Everett, Billy Sample, and Jonathan Mayo bring you the most up-to-date information while they chat with general managers, scouts, and those inside. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean we stop thinking baseball. The Hot Stove Report, found only at MLB.com radio.
Hi, this is Tommy Lasorda. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my good friend, Ben Platt, for the great interviews he does on MLB.com radio.
Well, thank you, Tommy. You know, I try to interview everyone in baseball, from Hall of Famers like you to the new stars just coming on the scene, every morning on the Baseball Breakfast with Billy Sample and Jonathan Mayo, and afternoons on deck with Seth Everett and Victor Rojas.
Hey, Ben, one thing I don't get is, what's this Benny P stuff?
Tommy, it's just a radio nickname they gave me back in the station.
Benny P this, Benny P that. You weren't Benny P 10 years ago when you started out covering the Dodgers. I'm one of the few guys that knew you when you were poor. Man, I thought you were going to soil yourself every time you did an interview with me.
Man, last year he accused me of starting the Kingman interview, now this. The Benny P. interviews, exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Benny P., what a joke.
Bottom of the fourth, 8-2, Desert Dogs over the Scorpions. Scorpions, Saguaros, it's all desert stuff here at Scottsdale Stadium in the Arizona Fall League. Brennan King will lead it off, and the first pitch to him is a knuckler from Zink that dances outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Along with Victor Rojas, Jeff Munn at Scottsdale Stadium. The 1-0 pitch from Zink on the way, and that's low.
Get you caught up on what's happening around Major League Baseball. Sammy Sosa has decided to stay with the Chicago Cubs.
That's good news.
Yeah. Like he was actually going to go test.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that surprised me yesterday. The Dodgers, Paul Quantrill, walking away from the $3.1 million from the Dodgers, opting for free agency.
You know, as strong a year as he had, it's hard to believe that he's going to find money that comparable out on the open market.
Considering how many people are out of the market.
There's a strike, and the count to King, 3 balls and 1 strike. When I heard the note about Sosa this morning, this first thing I thought of was, where did people think he was going? The 3-1 pitch is high, and King is aboard on the 5th walk issued by Charlie Zink. Here's Dallas McPherson out of the Angels organization. Struck out, reached base on a passed ball his first time up.
And those walks, too, are very strange as far as Zink is concerned. We talked about it. He doesn't feel comfortable down here because of the climate. Yet he came into this one after 4 starts with 11 strikeouts and 7 walks only. He's got 5 already in this game.
Left-hander looks at a pitch outside, a knuckler from Zink, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Just to continue the thought for just a second about the spring training issue, we were talking the last half inning about some teams that might be interested in taking over in Tempe once the Angels leave. It's come to the point now where when you are going to spring training, you want to be in a facility that doesn't just have a beautiful stadium and all the amenities that go with it, but you got to have practice diamonds that are close by, and that's one thing the Rockies don't have down in Tucson. They don't have it currently here for the Giants at Scottsdale, but the city of Scottsdale is trying to come up with a way to build some diamonds that are a little closer to the stadium here. Now the 1-0 pitch, and that's high and outside, 2 balls, no strikes. One proposal, and I believe it's still in the talking stages, is to wipe out a golf course that's about a half a mile from here, which is not sitting well with the golfers. There's a knuckler that's in for a strike.
And you mentioned the White Sox and D-backs splitting the complex down in Tucson. There are fields located directly adjacent to the stadium. That's where the White Sox train. And then the Diamondbacks have a set of fields across the street from Tucson Electric Park, and that's where they train. And the trade-off was, if you take the fields across the street, you get the big home clubhouse down that third base line. If you want to train right next to the stadium, then you'd have to take over the visiting clubhouse.
McPherson swings and misses in the count 2-2. So the White Sox have all their organizational offices. You can stand outside the press box at Tucson Electric Park, throw a rock, and hit their offices. The Diamondbacks' offices are across the street.
Right.
Throw over to first, and King is back.
Well, when I was with the Angels, I played here. My first year was here in Mesa. And that's when the Angels still were bouncing around a little bit, and they ended their spring training in Palm Springs every year.
Gene Autry Park.
Yep.
And that was crazy because
the Mariners were at Tempe.
Yeah.
Because we used to go there and play them. And what was the complex that was way out? I think it was the Brewers used to train there.
Sun City. Oil and
yes,
Chandler.
That's it.
McPherson fouls one off to the left. Was it Sun City?
Yeah, Sun City. That was it.
They trained in Sun City for a while, and then they built them a ballpark in Chandler. And they only played there for about 4 or 5 years. And then Maryvale was built, and they moved to Maryvale. And I don't even think that ballpark, which even now wouldn't be that old, I don't think it's there anymore. Compadre Stadium.
Oh, it's down in Chandler?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that thing's gone. McPherson swings and misses, and down he goes. And that's just the second strikeout for Charlie Zink, but it couldn't come at a better time with a runner at first and nobody out. So one down, and Jeff Mathis, the batter, he flied to left his first time up.
If I'm not mistaken, and granted, this is going well. This is 13 years ago. I think the Cardinals shared the complex with the Brewers as far as the Arizona rookie ball, not necessarily spring training.
Right.
I think the Cardinals were there because that's we had to go out there and play them. And I remember Seattle for sure being in Tempe.
There's a pitch high. The old Diablo Stadium, which is nothing like the one that sits there now, they refurbished it completely for the Angels, was the coldest when you had one of those early March days where it was a little crisp and the wind was blowing. It was not a fun place to sit. The pitch outside, 2 balls and no strikes. It was all open air. There was no covering.
Right.
So whatever the elements were, that's what you got. Now the 2-0 pitch coming from Zink, and that's swung on and missed. The only other place that I've been that has been that cold for a baseball setting was 2 years ago when I was up at Cashman Field for the Players Association home run hitting contest, and that was, there's nothing back east that could match what that was like that day in Las Vegas of all places. The 2-1 pitch is a ground ball to short. Charging in a step is Bynum, grabs, throws to second for one, on to first, in time to get him. Johnson had to go to his right a little bit to spear that ball, but he came up with it in time, so the 6-4-3 double play closes out the Scorpions in the fourth. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left at the end of 4. Desert Dogs 8, Scorpions 2. You're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball on MLBRadio.com.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mize, because I'm going to fix my bat up for him. So I'm up there the first time using the bat and pitch it to it high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit, and then I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
Hi, this is Victor Rojas from Scottsdale, Arizona. 1 week down in the Arizona Fall League, and the action continues here on MLB.com radio on Monday, November 3rd, as the Grand Canyon Raptors visit the Scottsdale Scorpions at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. So be sure to tune us in right after that Major League Baseball Roundtable, which is a big league show, I might add. I'll be here from Scottsdale Stadium, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. If you have any emails, send them on in to radio@MLB.com as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he was giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature. Kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved him over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game, MLB.com radio.
To the fifth inning at Scottsdale Stadium, 8-2 Desert Dogs over the Scottsdale Scorpions, and right-hander Brian Stefik out of the Dodger organization will take over in relief of Dave Gill, and the first batter he faces is Kelly Shopach, and he takes a pitch low and outside. Stefik's 2-0 on the Fall League campaign, a 4.50 earned run average. This is his 8th appearance with 10 innings logged. The 1-0 pitch is low. Dave Gill a little wobbly out of the gate after he came on in relief of T.J. Nall, but settled down nicely, went 3 2/3 innings. Gave up a run on 3 hits, struck out 2. Shopach fouls one back to the screen. Along with Victor Rojas, Jeff Munn at Scottsdale Stadium. The Arizona Fall League now front and center in the minds of baseball executives and fans. With the World Series put to bed last Saturday night. Now the 2-1 pitch, and that's high and tight and gets away from the catcher Mathis.
Well, it becomes front and center again, even more so on November 11th, 12th, and 13th. That coincides with the general managers meeting down here in Phoenix. So our game times will be pushed back to 2:30 Mountain Time, which is 4:30 Eastern Time. But you want to talk about the who's who of front office as well as field managers being out here. I remember calling the first 3 games of the Arizona Fall League last year down in Tucson. That's where the GM's meetings were. And everybody was there. All types of Jeff, John Hart, the Buck Showalters, everybody was down there. It was pretty nice getting to listen and talk to those guys during our broadcast.
Nick Swisher, the batter. He's 0 for 1 with a first-inning walk and a run scored, and he grounds one back up the middle and through for a base hit. Shopek will make the turn and hold at second on a single from Nick Swisher, and there's first and second with nobody out. Well, certainly those who are listening to MLB.com radio want to be tuned in for those broadcasts because that's about as good a hot stove discussion as you're going to get.
Well, there's no question about that. Those guys talk about everything that is going on. Of course, you have all these free agents that are filed. I believe there's 225 guys total that could file for free agency this year, and already about 180 of them have filed. So anybody and everybody who was eligible and or did not have their options picked up or declined anyways in the marketplace. And, of course, that leads into just a month after that, of course, the winter meetings. Yep.
There's almost as much going on in terms of transactions, or at least discussions of transactions now at the GM meetings as there are at the winter meetings. Corey Smith's the batter. First and second, nobody out. Top of the fifth, 8-2 Desert Dogs. And now time is called. And, of course, there's a lot of hot stove talk already in the last couple of days, of course, centering on Manny Ramirez. The first pitch is low and outside to Corey Smith, 1 ball and no strikes. And there are some wicked rumors being tossed around now that apparently the irrevocable waivers have come and gone. The 1-0 pitch fouled back. So it did not take long for the hot stove to get lit and brought to a boil. The right-hander, Stefik, sets and delivers 1-1, and that's swung on and missed. A snap throw to first, and Swisher is out. Wow, what a play by the first baseman, Loney, to make the tag.
That's just a great throw by Mathis. We were talking about being listed as the second catcher just behind Joe Mauer by Baseball America. Just a snap throw. And Loney, nice job to drop that knee in front of the bag. That's Swisher's hand going right into that knee. Great job on both ends.
And you're seeing why these catchers are so highly thought of. The 1-2 pitch to Smith is a check swing low and away, blocked by Mathis. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. On the Mesa side of things, you get Chopok, who has handled a knuckleballer very effectively today and has thrown out a runner attempting to steal. And here for Scottsdale, Mathis has done a very nice job. There's a fly ball into deep right. Backing up on it is Stenson. Looks up at the track. He makes the catch. Chopok holds at second, so 2 down in the inning.
That's just bad base running right there by Chopok, too.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to look there and see that he hadn't moved.
That's one of the things I've noticed here in the last week or thereabouts as far as decisions by the runners, base runners, especially at second base in that type of situation. You got less than 2 outs. You have an outfielder that's going back towards the wall. If that ball bounces, even if you're standing at second base, it's going to ricochet off the wall, thus allowing you at least the opportunity to try to score. Instead, he's still at second base.
Tony Schrager, the batter, even a ball that is going to get caught as a pitch is high, and you've got a catcher standing at second. That ball was put right up against the fence. You would think that even a slow-running catcher would be able to advance. There's a pitch on the outside corner, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 8 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Desert Dogs. 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 error for Scottsdale, that being a 2-run homer. Coming back in the 3rd inning. off the bat of Smitherman. Now the 1-1 pitch, and that's low and in.
Just to get you caught up as far as what's happening around Major League Baseball, Esteban Loaiza, one of the best pitchers in the American League this year, had his option picked up by the Chicago White Sox, of course. So he will return. Kansas City Royals general manager and field manager Tony Pena and Allard Baird had their contracts extended by 2 years each. Financial numbers were not disclosed.
The pitch gets away from Mathis, and now Shopik will make his way down to third, and the count, 3 balls and 1 strike on Tony Schrager. Well, you talk about two guys who earned the contract extension. Yep, there you go. Three balls, 1 strike, runner at third, 2 out. Top of the 5th. 8-2 Mesa. And the 3-1 pitch on the way. And that's swung on and popped up right side. Into foul territory goes Loney, backing up a bit, and he makes the catch. And the side is retired. So, a nice inning of work from Stopik. The Mesa Desert Dogs, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 4.5, Desert Dogs 8, Scorpions 2, and you're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball on MLB.com radio.
Right now, fall is in full color at Kohl's. Kohl's has all the brands your family loves, like Nike, Levi's, Dockers, Mudd, Lee, Oshkosh, and many more. Every size, every color, fully stocked. And with Kohl's great sale prices, you can bundle up without spending a bundle. Plus, you'll enjoy Kohl's hassle-free returns, stroller carts, easy checkouts, and storefront parking. So come on in and see what's new for fall at Kohl's. Kohl's. Shop happy, leave happy.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you had a successful major league career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm very proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL of Fame.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot shot to 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Stearns. And Stearns is cut off mascot. Now that's
teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund. A partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, visit baseballtomorrowfund.com.
Bottom of the 5th, 8-2 is our score, with the Mesa Desert Dogs leading the Scottsdale Scorpions, and a couple of changes for Mesa. The new catcher out of the Indians organization is Dave Wallace, and he will catch one of his organizational teammates in right-hander Todd Pennington, who makes his 6th appearance of the year, no record, and a 5.40 earned run average in the fall league. And the first pitch to Nick Gornol is in there for a strike at the knees. Charlie Zink, very nice outing. 4 innings, 2 runs on 1 hit, that a 2-run homer from Smitherman. Walked 5 as the pitch comes in low, struck out 2. But you can get that occasionally with a guy that throws the butterfly up there.
Good name for it, too.
That's about what it does. It just floats. The pitch is low, and the count 2 balls and a strike. I was telling a little story before we came on today. I have a whole new appreciation now for guys that throw pitches like that. We had a nice little outing at the ballpark last Friday amongst Diamondback employees where we were allowed to go down on the field, play a little batting practice and outfield practice. There's a liner down the right field line. That's going to drop in and roll toward the fence. Gornol on his way for second. He will be in there and hold there with a leadoff double here in the 5th inning.
Good piece of hitting right there. Got a pitch out in the way for him. Just didn't try to do too much with it. A lot of times you see these young hitters that take that pitch and roll over the top of it and hit a ground ball to the left side of the infield. Garneau goes with it and gets a double out of it, his first of the Arizona Fall League.
So a runner at second, nobody out, and Eric Brundlett will be the batter. Brundlett walked his first time up. The right-hander Pennington delivers a pitch high and outside. We're talking about a little outing that the employees had last week, and we were able to use some batting practice balls, which are obviously scuffed up. 1-0 pitch is a little looper out into right field. Coming on is Thompson. He makes the catch. Going back towards second is Garneau, and he'll hold there as the throw comes in. So one down. Garneau remains at second, and Scott Hairston the batter. Well, they let the employees. We had somebody come in and pitch some batting practice, and that's kind of nice. But at a point where some of our colleagues from the broadcast department with the Diamondbacks came up, I decided maybe it might be kind of fun if I got out there and limbered up the old right arm. Got a few of those scuffed up batting practice balls, and they do some pretty funny things when you let them go. Scott Hairston is 0 for 1, walked and grounded into a double play and takes low.
Did you try to hit somebody?
The aforementioned Leo Gilmartin got a couple of high fastballs, or at least fastballs the way I throw them.
My understanding was that he was pretty chapped about it.
He wasn't real happy. 1-0 pitch is low. It's down 2 balls and no strikes.
Here's a guy that's self-proclaimed to be a guy that doesn't get upset.
His explanation to me this week was, and I'm going to try to quote as close to on the record as I can, there's a high fly ball into left field. Drifting to his left is Scott. Settles under it and will make the catch, and Garneau will have to head back to second and hold there. So 2 down. Garneau remains at second, and James Lowry will be the batter. Or James Loney, I beg your pardon.
Was the governor there? Did he bat against
the governor? Took the day. We did not see the governor.
No?
We did not see the governor.
Just wondered if you buzzed the tower of the governor.
I don't think I could do that. That's, you don't go after royalty.
So what you're saying is that you intentionally tried to hit Leo Gilmartin
just to send him a message.
And Scotty Geyer.
I don't remember. I just threw junk to Geyer.
Okay.
You know how Scotty, very upbeat guy, never really got upset. Loney swings and misses in the count 0-1. Leo's quote this week was, when he threw a fastball down the middle, I swung late because I was so shocked to see an actual pitch.
That's typical Leo, an excuse for everything.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Leo Gilmartin is the manager of broadcast operations for the Arizona Diamondbacks and handles our broadcasts on the radio side as our engineer. What is his title?
I've always called him corner man.
I tell you what, it changes every day. I think he gets new business cards printed every week with a new title.
0-2 pitch to Loney's in the dirt, blocked by Wallace, and Garneau's not going anywhere. He'll hold at second. Runner at second, 2 out, 8-2 Desert Dogs, bottom of the 5th. The sun is much more a factor now as it's breaking out of the haze that's over the Phoenix area as a result of the wildfires in California. In fact, the Phoenix area is under an air pollution advisory today because of the smoke. Loney swings and misses, and down he goes, and that's it for the Scorpions in the 5th. No runs, 1 hit. They leave Garneau at second after he leads off with a double. No errors and the 1 runner left on base, and at the end of 5, Desert Dogs 8, Scorpions 2. You're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball on MLB.com radio.
This is Andy Pettit of the New York Yankees. It's never easy to stand your ground when facing the best hitters in the game, but with practice, you gain confidence. To teach values that go beyond the diamond, Major League Baseball charities and Boys and Girls Clubs of America have teamed up to bring baseball and softball to kids around the world. Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, boys and girls learn about teamwork, fair play, and respect. Because when kids believe in themselves, amazing things can happen.
Hi, this is Victor Rojas from Scottsdale, Arizona. 1 week down in the Arizona Fall League, and the action continues here on MLB.com radio on Monday, November 3rd, as the Grand Canyon Raptors visit the Scottsdale Scorpions at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. So be sure to tune us in right after that Major League Baseball Roundtable, which is a big league show, I might add. I'll be here from Scottsdale Stadium, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, If you have any emails, send them on in to radio@MLB.com as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Get the perfect gift for the baseball fan in your life at MLB Shop on MLB.com. You can purchase jackets, jerseys, caps, and clothes for men, women, and children. Get a snazzy new batting practice jersey or a classic replica jersey of your favorite team. You can even customize your jersey. Best of all, it can all be done online. Plus, the MLB Shop has baseball cards, bobblehead dolls, books, videos, and so much more. All purchases are private and secure, and the MLB Shop accepts all major credit cards. Click on the MLB Shop button at the top right of MLB.com and get that perfect gift today.
Raven, we've got bandits at 1 o'clock.
Lights on.
Engaging now.
What kind of person can handle an F-16 dueling in a Mach-speed dogfight? Why, a math teacher, of course, when she's in the National Guard and Reserve. Nearly half of today's military are members of the Guard and Reserve, but they can't do it without their employer's support. If you're an employer, visit www.esgr.org and learn how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours. A public service message from ESGR and the Ad Council.
Rich Thompson grounds out to first with Loney waiting for him to make the tag, and there's one down as we start the sixth here at Scottsdale Stadium. 8-2, the Desert Dogs leading the Scorpions along with Victor Rojas, Jeff Munn. On another Chamber of Commerce afternoon in the Desert Southwest. Brian Stefik, the third Scorpion pitcher of the afternoon, will now face Freddie Bynum, who has doubled, tripled, and flied to right, and he takes high and outside.
Happy Halloween to everyone out.
That's right. That's right. There's going to be a little trick-or-treating going on around town after this is all over. A swing and a miss from Bynum, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. You got trick-or-treat duties tonight?
Well, you know, I live in an apartment complex. My home is actually in Fort Lauderdale.
So there won't be a lot of knocks at the door.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We bought a couple bags of stuff just in case, you know.
Yeah,
more times than not, we're going to end up eating it probably.
Apartments don't get a lot of activity.
Although there are a lot of families and kids in our apartment complex.
Well,
so there's a
never
possibility.
Know. Never know.
I'm going to be a grouch and just put a sign up there, no candy, all out.
Meanwhile, you'll be on the couch.
Sucking it all down.
There you go. Ground ball foul outside of first. We've been in our house for, it's been 9 years. I remember the first year we were in 94. It was still a pretty new development, and not everybody was in. And I, for some reason, wasn't in a real good mood when the doorbell rang. My wife was working that night, and I wasn't expecting anybody. There's a ground ball to second. Backing up a step is Harrison. He's got it. Throws to first, just in time to get Bynum, and there's 2 down. Well, we hope that whatever you're doing tonight, you will do it safely. And if you're in the Tempe area, please, more chocolate bars. We want more chocolate bars. J.R. House, the batter, he had a 3-run homer in the first, also walked as watch out. The Scorpions, or I should say the Desert Dogs, batted around, and boy, there was one up over House's head from Brian Stefik. That was one that just got away.
I don't know, man. J.R. House just having a look, staring out at Stefik. Hey, yo, dude, we're all prospects here. Let's relax a little bit.
Now the 1-0 pitch, and that's another fastball. That's on the inside corner for a strike. House took advantage of a pretty strong wind that was blowing out to left center when he hit that home run in the first, and he hits a high chopper this time to the left side, charging in the third baseman King, throws in time to get him, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left for the Desert Dogs in the sixth, and at the end of 5.5, Desert Dogs 8, Scorpions 2, and you're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Bob Tavares in to score, and Cepeda pulling to second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York, a tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-Hall of Fame.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings and off-season moves on the Hot Stove Shows. Get updates on Winter League and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Number one baseball source all year long. This is MLB.com Radio.
Bottom of the sixth, 8-2 Desert Dogs. Steven Smitherman will lead it off. He has one of the 2 Scorpion hits, and that was a 2-run homer back in the third. It was the only hit given up by Charlie Zink. Right-hander Todd Pennington delivers inside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Jeff Munn and Victor Rojas in Scottsdale. Pretty good crowd out today as Smitherman checks his swing and takes outside. 2 balls and no strikes. As we were saying, number of scouts from a lot of major league clubs, and I know quite a few people from the Diamondbacks front office wanted to come out today, as there's a pop-up to the right side, and in foul territory goes Johnson, and he'll make the catch, and there's 1 down. You know, one of the other things that we ought to be hearing about in the next couple of days, I would think, Victor, is some of the managerial openings. If I have not lost count, I think there are 2 or 3. And every other day, as Stenson is the batter, you keep hearing that the White Sox are zeroed in on Cito Gaston, but for some reason they can't quite finish the deal. Stenson takes low. 1 ball and no strikes. Darnell Stenson today, 0 for 2, fly to right, pop to short.
Well, Cito Gaston, of course, is being considered, but I guess now a name that keeps popping up, and rightfully so, is Jose Guillen, the third base coach for the Florida Marlins, former White Sox shortstop.
Had his interview, I think, yesterday.
Yep.
2-0 pitch, and that's low. Grady Little is, or was, scheduled to interview today in Baltimore for the Orioles vacancy.
Right. Lee Mazzilli interviewed yesterday. Now they've run, 9 guys through there?
That's amazing. The 3-0 pitch is low, and Stenson's aboard with a 1-out walk.
They still say that Eddie Murray's probably the leading candidate.
See, that's what I don't understand. I don't think anybody would disagree that Eddie Murray is the next manager of the Baltimore Orioles would be a fabulous idea. So what the hang-up would be on that, I'm not incredibly certain. Brennan King's the batter, and he takes a pitch high. King is 0 for 1, fly to right and walked. 8 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Desert Dogs. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Scorpions. We are in the bottom of the 6th, and the 1-0 pitch is swung on and popped up right side. Johnson giving chase into foul ground, still going toward the railing. He will run out of room.
There's probably going to be a lot more openings, too, as far as coaching jobs are concerned once the Yankees are done figuring out what they're going to do. Whether or not Stottlemyre is going to retire or not. Some say Mazzilli's probably gone regardless if he gets the Orioles job or not.
I'd heard that, and I also saw a story today, don't remember where, that Don Zimmer may be talking to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
The 1-1 pitch is fouled back.
Zim and Sweet Lou. 2 peas in a pod right there.
I would think, just the thought of those two together, but I would think that a club that had a young manager would really benefit from having a guy like Zim as your bench coach. Now the 1-2 pitch, and that's swung on and missed, dropped by Wallace. He's gone. Is Brennan King. There's the second strikeout for Pennington, and there's 2 down in the 6th. for Dallas McPherson.
Ryan Doman, a catcher of the Pirates organization, is going to join us in the top of the 7th inning. Just giving our heads up to Dan Tilly back in New York, so he hits the record button on the recorder there. That can be archived on MLB.com later.
McPherson takes a pitch low from Pennington, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. McPherson reached in the 2nd on a strikeout passed ball, and then he struck out again in the 4th. He takes a pitch at the knees for a strike, and the count 1-1. Stenson at first, 2 out. Bottom of the 6th, 8-2 Mesa. The Mesa Desert Dogs, that is. Now the 1-1, and that's low and in. Great thing about baseball, there is always something to talk about. Now the 2-1, and that catches the outside corner. Stenson, a late break for second, and the throw is in plenty of time to get him, but it took Bynum an extra half second to make the tag because he literally knocked Stenson off the bag when he came in. So it took a little bit of time, but they get the put out 2-6, and the Scorpions are gone in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left, and we're through 6 here at Scottsdale Stadium. It's the Desert Dogs 8 and the Scorpions 2, and you're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mines, and I'm going to fix my bat up for him. So I'm up there the first time using the bat and pitch it to him high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
We're going to the 7th here at Scottsdale Stadium, an 8-2 lead for the Desert Dogs over the Scottsdale Scorpions as we complete the first week of broadcast of Arizona Fall League Baseball here on MLB.com radio. We have a special guest, and as we go to the 7th, let's turn it back over to Victor Rojas.
Thanks, Money. I appreciate it, big man. As Pittsburgh Pirates catching prospect, I should say, because he's not quite the Pittsburgh Pirates catcher yet, not until he trades Jason Kendall. As Ryan Delbert joins us here, and Ryan, thanks for joining us here. It's 8-2, 7th inning. No surprise for you. Your ball club's been playing very well. The record doesn't show it, but you guys seem to swing the sticks pretty good.
We got some big boppers on our team. We knew that coming in, that the first couple of days of workout, we saw that we had some guys that can swing it. And, our BPs have been carrying over into the game, so it's been fun to watch. It's been a fun team to be a part of.
Now, what's the best part of being down here in the Arizona Fall League?
Oh, the weather. You cannot beat this weather down here. I'm from Seattle, so there's not too many clouds around here, but it's great. Middle of actually the end of October now, and it's blue skies and it's about 85 degrees, so it's wonderful.
It doesn't get much better than that, huh?
Oh, this is baseball weather right here.
And it's amazing how I just asked a question and you just pop out with the weather thing, and just so people know that we're not making things up here, it actually just rolls off the tongue from players.
That's right.
Hey, how difficult is it to play in a ballpark like this? This is a pretty spacious yard, 430 to dead center, 360 down the left field side. I mean, does that come into play at all as far as your mindset going into a ballpark, whether it's this one or in the minor league somewhere, looking at the dimensions and saying, wow, this is a pretty spacious ballpark?
You know what? Any hitters, if they tell you that they don't look at the size of the park, they're lying to you. You see that 430 dead center field, and that that kind of gets you a little bit. But you know, he's focused on the ball, and the way guys are swinging the bats out here now, and the way the ball seems to fly out here, you know, guys, the ball's been taking care of itself.
Now, I mean, you're some pretty good company here. Actually, in this ball game alone, with Mathis catching from the Angels, Shopak from the Red Sox, yourself, there's 3 guys in the top 7 by Baseball America as far as catching prospects are concerned. That's pretty good company. That tells you pretty much in the Arizona Fall League, there's some pretty good talent here. Especially about, and you can't forget about J.R. House, the guy who's in the Pirates organization getting the start today at DH.
Mm-hmm. It's great talent out here. You know, it's an honor to be out here playing against the elite. You know, this is the best of the best, and you know, it's fun. You know, I always feel that your level of play always raises when you're playing against you know, a higher caliber of players, and you know, it's beneficial, especially for a younger guy like myself. I consider myself to be a younger guy. You know, I'm an A-ball guy playing with AA, AAA guys. It's fun to play around the guys that, you know, I've been around the game a little bit, you know, a little more experience. It's fun to watch the way they go about it and carrying themselves and stuff. It's just a really fun environment out here.
Now, you broke your pinky last year, right?
My index finger, actually.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
I got it shattered. A guy on first base, he takes off to steal, and I catch the ball, and I pop up like I'm going to throw, and the hitter swings a little late, kind of to protecting the runner, and it kind of took my glove off. But yeah, it's ugly. But
does it bother you at all? It's on your catching head. Does it bother you on the catch?
Not so much anymore. It did initially, you know, for the first 6 months, but it's more of an eyesore now than anything else.
Sure. Dan Johnson just grounded out to the second baseman, Harrison, for the first out here in the 7th inning. 8-2, Desert Dogs leading it. And, you know, we just had Dustin Nippert up here a little while ago from Scottsdale's ball club. And it's funny because I asked him the question. I've had numerous guys throughout the week here, and it's kind of an ironic question. For you as a catcher, pitch calling situations, game calling situations, does it differ here in the Arizona Fall League than it does as a Pittsburgh Pirates farmhand? I mean, you guys probably have I'm assuming, a philosophy how you want your pitchers to mature throughout the minor league system. How different is it here when you're pitching or catching different guys from different organizations?
Well, it's different because, like you said, each organization has a different approach to how they want their pitchers pitching. And the thing that Kurt Young, our pitching coach down here, told us is, you know, the pitchers got to show all their stuff. You know, they can't stick to one pitch. You know, they got to show every pitch early on. You know, like, you know, usually pitchers will wait for like the second or third inning before they start breaking out, you know, the rest of their repertoire, the curveballs, the sliders. But he said from the get-go, just show everybody, all the scouts and everybody what they have from the get-go. So.
Now, you're down here. Of course, you're a switch-hitting catcher. Where do you feel most comfortable as far as which side of the plate?
Left side. Definitely left side.
Naturally right-hander?
Naturally right-hander.
That's funny.
I only get about, I'd say probably 85 right-handed bats a year. You know, just I see too many righties.
Yeah,
so.
that's how I was. I was a right-handed. I learned to hit switch hit.
Oh, yeah?
I feel more comfortable today, even hitting or doing things from the left side than I do from the right side.
It becomes natural.
Yeah.
You know, you get way more reps from the left side than you do the right, and you know it's going to happen that way.
Sure. Are you working on any particular part of your game down here? Is it defense? Is it shortening your swing? Whatever the case may be.
I'm trying to work on all aspects. I'm just trying to get better out here. A lot of it is my defense. You know, I've been out with Bees, our manager, blocking balls every morning, working on my footwork and all that. But I still think I have a long way to go. You know, I'm learning every day, and I'm starting to feel more and more comfortable. But I still have a few rough edges to shave off a little bit.
Sure. Tony Beasley. B is the guy you were talking about. Tony Beasley is the manager of the Desert Dog, a member of the Pirates organization. Does that give you or J.R. House or any of the guys on this ball club, when the manager or at least a member of the coaching staff is from your organization, kind of a head start going into spring training next year because these guys are watching you for an extended period of time?
Yeah, I think it's beneficial. It's to our advantage because you know we know his philosophy and the Pirate philosophy, and it's you know it's easier for us being a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates to adjust to his philosophies and stuff. But yeah, it's great having them be around and watching us play every day. You know, always evaluate, and then you know, we got a good relationship with Bees, so we always feel that the Bees is on our side.
One of the things that we've watched today is, of course, the young man who started for your ball club today, Charlie Zink, who throws that knuckleball, and I'm certain it's I don't know how often you've seen knucklers down through your travels in the minor leagues, but I have a feeling that's probably an eye-opening experience to have to catch a guy that's throwing one that's getting up there about 40 miles an hour and dancing everywhere.
Oh, I had to catch him about a week and a half ago, and it was the most dizzying experience of my life. Like, you have to stare at it all the way in, otherwise you'll have no shot at catching it. But everybody always emphasized, oh, it's so hard to catch a knuckleballer. I'm like, come on, even with that big glove, how hard could it be? But it definitely humbled me a little bit catching him.
You feel like after you do something like that, you're going to get a call from an NHL club saying, "Can you come play goal for us tonight?"
Exactly. I was just trying to keep it in front of me. I don't care if I was wearing off the chest or off the face. I was just didn't want to get back to the backstop.
All right, seriously now, and this will be the last question. We'll let you go because I know you're a busy guy. Are you single or married?
Single.
Single. Are you attached?
No.
All right, now the nightlife
phone
here.
number 509.
Nightlife's pretty good.
Oh man, it's unbelievable out here.
You come out here.
I'm thinking about moving out here.
I know you're in Florida during spring training. You got to come here during spring training.
Man,
your head will explode.
Pirates, let's move from Bradenton. I think there's going to be an opening in Tempe, I believe.
There you go. See, he reads the paper, he's right on top of it. He's right on top of it.
McKechnie Field is nice.
McKechnie Field's not bad,
but it's no Tempe.
I mean, humidity, no humidity. Humidity, no humidity. I'd rather play in the no humidity.
So in other words, the weather's nice here.
Oh, it's great. Great weather. And all you folks back there in New York, it's probably raining right now. You just can't beat this. Not a cloud in the sky.
Somebody get the mayor of Tempe on the phone. We got a new tenant for Diablo Stadium. Don't know about the Pirates, but he's going.
Man, I tell you what, on that weather note, we'll let you go, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That's probably the best interview we had all week. That's Ryan Dobit of the Pirates organization. Hey, best of luck to you. Good luck to you in spring training.
Thank you very much.
You got it. This is Ryan Dobit, Pittsburgh Pirates catching farmhand, I should say, and just an all-around good guy out of the state of Washington, and loves the weather in Arizona. I tell you what. One out here at the top of the seventh inning. 8-2, Desert Dogs lead it. Luke Scott did walk. And Wallace, the catcher, has a 2-ball, 2-strike count against Ryan Shackelford, the left-hander. 2-2 pitch on the way, swing and a miss. And down goes Wallace for the second out.
One thing you're very accurate about, my friend, he's single, he's unattached, and he's in Scottsdale. So, yes, he's a busy man.
Yeah, he's having a lot of fun down here. So 2 outs in the seventh. And that'll bring up Nick Swisher, the center fielder. Switcher, a switch hitter, will bat from the right side against the left-hander Shackelford. First pitch coming, fastball swung on, missed. No balls and a strike. Swisher is 1 for 3, reached on an error in the first inning. Came around the score, one of 8 runs scored by the Desert Dogs in that first. He's grounded into a double play, and he singled in the fifth. The 0-1 pitch on the way. Fastball missed inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Boy, you think there's some writers in Pittsburgh that might have heard that interview or just waiting for him to get called up?
That's a good interview right there.
He's got that part of the game at a major league level right now.
1-1 to Swisher. Fastball catches the outside corner. Swisher didn't like the call. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned the Desert Dogs dropped an 8th spot in the top of the first inning, knocked Scorpion starter T.J. Nall out of the ballgame after just 1/3 of an inning. Scorpions with 2 runs in the bottom of the third on a 2-run home run by Steven Smitherman. That's all the scoring in this game so far. 2 hits for Scottsdale, 8 for the Desert Dogs. Ground ball, left side. The shortstop Bruntlett's got it, throws on the first, and Swisher is retired for out number 3. No runs, no hits, 1 man left on base. We head to the 7th inning stretch, 8-2, Desert Dogs leading. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you had a successful major league career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm very proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot shot to 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Stearns. And Stearns cut off mascot. Now that's
Teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund. A partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, visit baseballtomorrowfund.com.
Well, bottom of the seventh inning we go. 8-2 Mesa Desert Dogs leading the Scottsdale Scorpions. Victor Rojas alongside Jeff Munn. And our thanks to Diamondbacks farmhand Dustin Nippert, as well as Pirates farmhand Ryan Dobin, the catcher. And he's got a great personality. Anyways, we got a new pitcher in for the Desert Dogs. It's Chris Mabius out of the Oakland Athletics Organization. He had his white shiny shoes out there, just concluding his warm-up tosses. He comes in relief of Todd Pennington, who went 2 innings, allowed a hit, struck out 2, walked 1, and allowed no runs. And Mabius will be facing McPherson, Mathis, and Gornall. Mabius, a 13th round selection back in 2001. Went to Lewis Clark State in Idaho.
That's still an NAIA school, I think.
It sure is, and it was when I was there. Oh, that's right. Lewis Clark State University. Now, there's a Lewis and Clark. That one is in the state of Oregon. This one's Lewis-Clark. McPherson takes 2 pitches outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
You see quite a bit of Lewis Clark State down here when Grand Canyon was in NAIA, and I think they're going back.
That's what I heard, too. Right-hander works from the stretch, fastball away, 3 balls and no strikes.
My sister-in-law softball coach there. I should know.
You better know. Mabius comes in, no record down in the Arizona Fall League, a .397 earned run average in 9 ball games. 11 and a third innings, 16 hits. He has struck out 8, walked 5 as he delivers a fastball in there for strike 1. Let's see. This year, Mabius split time between A-ball and Double-A. Used primarily as a closer. 2 saves and a 1.52 ERA in Modesto A-ball as McPherson singles up the middle to lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. Mabius then got called up to Midland Double-A. The Texas League went 1-3, a .352 earned run average. But picked up 13 saves, struck out 40, walked 9. It appears as if he's got some pretty good control closing games out. 6'3", 210-pounder out of Soldotna, Alaska. Wow. A lot of cold weather there. Double play ball. Shortstop behind him for 1. Over to the second baseman, Schrager, and on to first for the double play. So Jeff Mathis, the catcher, rounds into a 6-4-3 double play. Just like that, there are 2 outs for Nick Gornall.
Soldotna, Alaska. He probably didn't get a lot of amateur ball activity up there.
I wouldn't think so. He did. It was in the snow. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Strike 1. Gornall, 1 for 2. He is grounded at third and doubled. Right-handed batter getting the start at center field. He fights one off and fouls it to the right side. No balls and 2 strikes.
Of course, Alaska was a place for years where they had a lot of college summer league activity. And on that night in June when you have the longest day of the year for those of us in the 48 U.S. states.
Off speed, missing low, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
They would have a game at midnight up there during the Alaskan Summer League. It would start at midnight because the sun was still out.
Sure. I don't think I can handle that.
No. A little past my bedtime.
1-2 on the way, swing and a miss. And Mabius comes in and does the job. Gives up a base hit, but he's retired on the double play, then gets a strikeout. No runs, one hit, no one left on. We've played 7 from Scottsdale, 8-2. Desert Dogs leading. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action on live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Derek Jeter. When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard every weekend and play ball. They teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing could get better. But if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. But there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Helping your kids find a dream can help keep them off drugs. This message brought to you by Partnership for Drug-Free America. Visit us at drugfreeamerica.org.
Avoid going into spring training wondering where the free agents have landed and what your team looks like heading into the 2004 season. Let MLB.com radio keep you informed with our Hot Stove Report. Mainstays Seth Everett, Billy Sample, and Jonathan Mayo bring you the most up-to-date information while they chat with general managers, scouts, and those inside. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean we stop thinking baseball. The Hot Stove Report, found only at MLB.com radio.
Hi, this is Tommy Lasorda. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my good friend, Ben Platt, for the great interviews he does on MLB.com radio.
Well, thank you, Tommy. You know, I try to interview everyone in baseball, from Hall of Famers like you to the new stars just coming on the scene, every morning on the Baseball Breakfast with Billy Sample and Jonathan Mayo, and afternoons on deck with Seth Everett and Victor Rojas.
Hey, Ben, one thing I don't get is, what's this Benny P stuff?
Tommy, it's just a radio nickname they gave me back in the station.
Benny P this, Benny P that. You weren't Benny P 10 years ago when you started out covering the Dodgers. I'm one of the few guys that knew you when you were poor. Man, I thought you were going to soil yourself every time you did an interview with me.
Man, last year he accused me of starting the Kingman interview, now this. The Benny P interviews, exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Benny P, what a joke.
Now to the 8th inning we go, 8-2. Mesa Desert Dogs leading the Scottsdale Scorpions, 8 runs, 8 hits. No errors for Mesa. 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 error for Scottsdale. Right-hander Joe Valentine out of the Cincinnati Reds organization comes in relief of Brian Shackelford. Shackelford went 1 inning, allowed no hits, struck out a batter, walked 1, and allowed no runs. Valentine, a right-hander, as I mentioned, breaking ball. First pitch in there for strike 1. Against Corey Smith, third baseman out of the Indians organization. And Jeff Munn, speaking of the Indians organization, got an email here from Freddie in Cleveland, Ohio. It says, how do you think the Indians will be next year, and how long will it take them to get back to the playoffs? As Smith comes up empty on the fastball that's in the hole at 0-2 strikes. Well, as far as the Indians are concerned, one thing that is at least plays in their favor is the fact that they're in the American League Central Division, where the Royals, you know, are going to have to cut some guys to keep their payroll in check. The Tigers are the Tigers. And then the Twins are going to have some tough decisions as far as players because of payroll considerations. And then the White Sox are going to lose Bartolo Colon to free agency. They've exercised the option on Esteban Loaiza. They lose Alomar. I believe they lose Carl Everett as well to free agency. Mm-hmm. Frank White is back. So there's still some questions. So as far as the division is concerned, it's open. Whether the Indians can step up, they have a lot of good young players. Jody Garrett came into his own this year. Milton Bradley in center field. You have Victor Martinez, this kid who's supposed to be a super stud behind the plate. The question is whether or not these guys are actually going to fulfill their promise at the major league level.
One of the things for certain, their general manager, Mark Shapiro, is a very highly thought of GM around baseball circles, and he is very much stuck to his plan from the day he got on board. And the Indian fans have been extremely patient with Shapiro and the Indians as they try to turn this thing around.
As Smith works his way on base with a leadoff walk to start the 8th inning. Valentine got ahead of him as they fell behind and lost him. Well, the man out at first, nobody out. That'll bring up Tony Schrager out of the Red Sox.
Tell you one thing, those are some great fans because the Diamondbacks got in there to play an interleague series in 2002, the day after the Colon trade to Montreal. And that was not a happy city.
Sure.
When that trade was made, but they still came out, packed the place for all 3 games. Some great fans in Cleveland.
Breaking ball, first pitch in there for a strike on Schrager. 0-1 the count. Well, I think the thing that Shapiro did, and at least that is commendable, is that he came out and said, look, this is something that's going to take some time. We're going to go out and make moves that get us better for 04-05, and that allow us to compete within our division, within the parameters set forth by ownership. And that's exactly what he did. All the trades that he made, including letting Tomei walk as a free agent because you get compensation for that as far as draft picks are concerned, are all geared towards the 04-05 season. And now you did have some guys, the Milton Bradleys and the Jody Garretts, the diamonds in the rough that came up and produced. On the flip side, there was Brandon Phillips, the guy who's supposed to be the everyday second baseman, struggled, got sent back down. But I think they have, in unison, the Mark Shapiro and Eric Wedge tandem, the field manager and general manager, that are working in unison and trying to get everything and everyone on the same page. And I think it's good. I think the future looks bright for the Indians right now. And I think they're going to be all right. How soon can they get to the postseason? I don't know. I think that all depends on whether or not they can add particular pieces to the puzzle, and specifically to that pitching staff, that rotation. They also have a big question as to whether or not they pick up the option on Baez. And it's a big-time option, over $4 million.
Well, I think the point you made about the fact that they're in a division where you can get ahead pretty quickly.
Sure.
And move up the ladder, and you need look no further than the Kansas City Royals, who were a great story all through the year. And really were a great story for all of baseball.
2-2 pitch inside to Schrager, and Valentine once again got ahead of Schrager. Now it's worked the count full to 3-2.
Just to expand it a little bit, I think that when you look at the example of the Royals from this last season, it gives people in Pittsburgh and Milwaukee and Cleveland and a lot of the cities, primarily in the 2 central divisions, both in the National American League, some hope because they see an example of how a team can move into contender status.
Sure. Runner goes, payoff pitch, inside, ball 4. So Valentine has come on and promptly walked the first 2 hitters he has faced. Puts runners at first and second base, nobody out, top of the order, and Rich Thompson's due up. Jeff Mathis, the catcher, goes out and talks to his pitcher, and that's going to prompt a visit by pitching coach Mike Butcher. There is action in the Scorpions bullpen. They trail it by 6 here in the 8th inning. Valentine came in with very good numbers in the Arizona Fall League, 1-0 on a 1.04 earned run average in 9 games, including 2 saves, 9 2/3, 6 hits, 14 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's walked the first 2 batters he's seen today.
I think one of the big keys for a lot of clubs that are rebuilding, Victor, and we've seen some examples of it here in this last season, is how well you scout prospects that you know you're going to get coming back in trades. And Joe Valentine was part of a deal that the Reds made with Oakland at the trade deadline, in which they got Aaron Harang and Jeff Busk for outfielder Jose Guillen. Harang, as we saw with our own eyes, a very effective pitcher.
No question about it. Valentine missed outside for ball 1 on Thompson, a guy who's got very good speed and can bunt. Yeah, but many say that the Reds got a steal with the addition of Valentine in that trade.
Point being, if you go out and get the right kind of prospects.
Thompson lines one over the head of Harrison into right center field. 1 run's going to come in. As Smith will score heading to third is Schrager. And in at second base is the right fielder Rich Thompson, who gets an RBI double to make it 9-2 Mesa.
Thing is, if you get the right kind of prospects, if you do your homework and your scouts get out and get the right kind of information on players, especially on pitchers, you can really take advantage of deals that may not look good initially when you have to trade a star away for prospects. The Reds fans will have to remember a couple of years from now, if Aaron Harang is winning 20 games, that they got him in a trade for Jose Guillen.
Sure. And I think everyone there is resigned to the fact that Jose Guillen was lightning in a bottle, and you might as well trade him now when he had some trade value. I think the ones that bother the Cincinnati Reds faithful, of course, is the Aaron Boones, the Scott Sullivan trades, Valentine missed outside. He's followed behind on Freddie Bynum, 2 balls and no strikes. Infield in for the Scorpions. They trail it by 7 here in the 8th. But, you know, I think Dan O'Brien will have his hands full in Cincinnati, the new general manager. And to me, I still think Dave Miley should be the guy that stays in as manager there. You're not going to go out and spend money and bring in free agents. You're going to use the guys you have in the minor leagues. What better than to reward a man who's been in your minor league system, also has coached at the major league level with your ball club, than just keeping Dave Miley there for a year, maybe 2 years.
You notice how that's really flown under the radar screen? They haven't really made up their minds what to do about that situation.
Well, there's so much other stuff that needs to go on in Cincinnati that I would think that why go through a managerial search when you have a guy who's very capable right there already in place?
Knows the personnel, too, because he saw him will come up through the system.
Three balls and a strike on Bynum. First base is open. J.R. House awaits on deck. 3-1 on the way. That one's pulled down the right field line. Base hit. Strager's going to score. Thompson's going to score. That ball goes all the way to the wall. Bynum heads into second base. And he picks up his second double, 2 RBI shot. And you can make it 10-2 now. Pardon me, 11-2. Desert Dogs leading the Scorpions. Freddie Bynum has had a terrific day. 3 for 5. 2 doubles and a triple. And 3 runs batted in.
And that's a little bit more of the textbook example of what the A's are looking for in their hitters. He got to a 3-1 count and knew he was going to get the pitch he wanted. Took advantage.
Joe Valentine has come on, has not been able to record an out. J.R. House steps in, takes a curveball in there for strike 1. That's just something that we have seen here for the first week that we've been broadcasting, that the inability of some of these pitchers to get hitters out once they've gotten ahead of them. Valentine got ahead 0-2 to the first 2 batters he faced. He ended up walking them. Fell behind on Thompson, double. Fell behind on Bynum, double. Count is even on House, 1 ball, 1 strike, and House, 3-run home run in the first inning. 1-1 shot, and that was driven deep to center field. That one's bolted. Gordo going back, still going back. One hops the fence. Bynum's going to come around to score. House heads into second base with an RBI double, make it 12-2. Now Desert Dogs. And that ball was ripped into dead center field, deepest part of the ballpark here. This is almost like deja vu all over again. Desert Dogs 8 runs in that first inning. And they actually scored 4 runs before they got the first out.
And it looks an awful lot, as you say, like the first, because the 2 guys that had the thunderous shots in the first were Bynum with his double and House with a monstrous home run to left center, and they've come back again here in the 8th inning to have a couple of pokes.
That's the 11th hit allowed by Scorpions pitching this afternoon. Dan Johnson steps in, left-handed hitter, takes a curveball, outside, ball 1. Johnson out of the Athletics organization, 1 for 3 today. Walked and scored in the first. He singled in the 4th. 1-0 on the way, and that one's popped up left side, shallow left field. Smitherman coming on, the left fielder, calls off the shortstop Brumman, makes the catch for the first out. So Valentine finally records the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Luke Scott. Speaking of the Indians, here's a kid that is having a nice Arizona Fall League, a .348 average before today's game. 1 for 3 with a double, a run scored. He's also drawn a walk.
And he's a prime example of why the Arizona Fall League is something that fans need to keep an eye on.
Yep. Breaks his bat, slow roll to right side. Slams it down. Harrison's got it. Flips on the first to retire Scott for out number 2. Going to third on the play is J.R. House. So 2 outs, and that'll bring up the catcher David Wallace. But as far as Luke Scott is concerned, he's a kid that had 20 home runs this year, 13 in Class A Kinston. hit 278, then hit 273 at AA Akron with 7 home runs. He's got some juice in that bat. 35 home runs in his first 2 years of professional baseball.
You know, during the regular season, when you're focused in on your parent club, on the big club that fans follow every day, it's a little tough to keep track of the minor league prospects. But here in the fall league, with nothing else going on, you got an easier chance to keep up with these guys.
One ball and one strike on Wallace, who came in as a defensive replacement for Shopak. He's 0 for 1, having struck out. Fastball in the dirt, nice play by Mathis. Keeps that ball in front of him with a man on at third base. 2 balls and a strike. Top of the 8th inning, 4 runs in for Mesa. They lead at 12-2. In a game that, even though there was 10 runs scored, was kind of cruising along the 4th through the 7th. Kind of hit the wall here. Pulled, foul, just wide of the bag at third. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. And this, I do believe, is a Jeff Munn curse.
Now, wait a minute. Now, you just said that the 3 innings that were cruising along were also the innings that I was doing play-by-play.
The mere fact that you're still here and we're still in the 8th inning. 2-2 on the way. Curveball got him. Wallace goes down looking, but not before the Desert Dogs put 4 runs on the board. On 3 hits, they do strand a runner. As we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, 12-2, Desert Dogs leading it. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mize. And I'm going to fix my bat up for him. So I'm up there the first time using the bat and pitch it to him high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
Hi, this is Victor Rojas from Scottsdale, Arizona. 1 week down in the Arizona Fall League, and the action continues here on MLB.com radio on Monday, November 3rd, as the Grand Canyon Raptors visit the Scottsdale Scorpions at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. So be sure to tune us in right after that Major League Baseball Roundtable, which is a big league show, I might add. I'll be here from Scottsdale Stadium, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. If you have any emails, send them on in to radio@MLB.com as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he was giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature. Kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved him over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game, MLB.com radio.
Now, bottom of the 8th inning we go, 12-2, Desert Dogs leading it. Chris Mabius concluding his warm-up tosses. That'll give us an opportunity to remind you that Monday we'll be back at it here at Scottsdale Stadium as the Scorpions will host the Grand Canyon Rafters. 3 o'clock Eastern Time is our start time on MLB.com radio. We have 2 more weeks of action. Actually, 9 more regular season games to be called. And then the November 15th championship game. Each team plays 36 games. There's 6 teams split up into 2 divisions. And the winners of each division play in a 1-game championship finale right here at Scottsdale Stadium on Saturday, November 15th. Not even sure I got a game time for that yet. But I'll take a gander here.
I don't think they've set one, have they?
Nope. No game time set. Foul back and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes on Eric Brundtland, who leads it off for the Scorpions, bottom of the 8th inning. Brundtland, the shortstop, is 0 for 1. Walked in the 3rd inning and flew out to right in the 5th. Maybe this works from the stretch. 0-2 on the way, breaking ball low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No action in either bullpen. The 1-2 pitch, and that one's fisted foul behind the dish. Scottsdale Stadium, of course, the spring training home of the San Francisco Giants football club, going through some changes during this offseason. Some changes that have already been made, others that are forthcoming. Another 1-2 swing and a miss on the breaking pitch, and Brundtland goes down. Second strikeout of the game for Mabius, who came in the 7th. And with 1 out, takes us back to the top of the order, and Scott Harrison.
I don't know about you, partner, but I was a little surprised to see them part ways with JT Snow.
Well, yes and no. I think it all depends. It all comes down to financial constraints. Everyone forgets that ballpark was privately financed. And there is a nut that the Giants themselves have to pay, a note on that stadium every single season. So that's factored into the whole equation, and I think when you look at certain situations, you look at the production of JT Snow, although he had a nice season last year offensively, he primarily has developed into a strict defensive first baseman. So I think they were looking for trying to get a little bit more out of it. If they're going to spend that kind of money on a JT Snow, why don't we get somebody that's a little bit more complete and a little bit more consistent? So, and the guy that's been talked about is Lance Necro, guy who came up this year, third baseman, shifting over to first base. We had him on yesterday as Hairston singles up the middle, collects his first knock of the day. He is now 1 for 3, including a walk. 1 out, a man on at first. That'll bring up James Loney. So there are some questions. Torrey Alba is probably going to be the everyday catcher because they most likely will not re-sign or attempt to re-sign Benito Santiago. And they have some question on the pitching side. After Jason Schmidt, who just went under the knife, elbow surgery, you got Kirk Reeder. Then you got to hope Williams comes back and has a nice season. Ainsworth bouncing back from a weird injury on his shoulder. You have the other kid, Jesse Foppert, under the knife this year. And then you have the bullpen that was overworked this year, but you do get Rob Nen back.
Yeah, of all the things that were really impressive this year was the fact that the Giants did as much as they did without Nen in the bullpen. And I'll be interested to see what kind of market activity there is on JT Snow. For the reason you just pointed out, he is a defensive player by and large.
And no longer a switch hitter.
Yeah, and if a club is interested in him, they're thinking about one thing. They're thinking about defense. And first base is not always a position that you can prioritize defense on. You've got to get some offensive production out of your first baseman.
Sure. 2-1 to Loney. This one foul to left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's a lot of guys. You look out at that free agent market and non-tenders that will continue to occur as the winter meetings come up. Now, the Diamondbacks have a perfect example. They have 8 guys, I believe, that have to be added to the 40-man roster or risk losing in the minor league Rule 5 selection. So there will be a lot of guys out there for every ball club. And, Jose Cruz Jr., which is the next team that's going to take a chance on the promise of Jose Cruz Jr.? Because everyone knows there is some ability there.
Yeah.
He got off to a terrific start with the Giants, played terrific defense, but all of a sudden hit the wall offensively.
He's another one that you'll see a lot of teams take a run at, but you might not see the value or the dollars go up real high.
2-2 pitch, breaking ball low. Nice play by Wallace. Hairston cannot advance. So the count is full on the first baseman with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Scottsdale trailing by 10, 12-2. Tom Farmer, the right-hander, loosening up for the Scottsdale Scorpions. I'm assuming we'll see him in the ninth. Hairston goes on the pitch, and the pitch misses low, and Loney's on board with a walk. So Mabius has the trifecta here in the eighth inning. A strikeout, a single, and a walk. As he has runners at first and second, one out, and Steven Smitherman stepping in. And here's a kid that's got tremendous power, already has a home run in this game, a two-run shot in the third. His third Jack of the Arizona Fall League. Good, strong, powerful right-handed stroke. Pitch missed outside. Ball one.
I keep one thing in mind. JT Snow will end up with a big league club. He's going to be a factor for somebody because of that defense.
1-0. Gets away from Wallace. Actually hits off his shin guard. Shoots back to the fence. Hairston will move to third. Loney will move to second. The Scorpions threatening here, trailing it by 10 with runners at second and third. And one out. Smitherman, a guy who's got tremendous pop, as I mentioned, 73 home runs since starting his professional career in 2000. That includes 19 at Double-A Chattanooga. Fastball high, 3-0. Got a brief call-up to the big club this year. 19 home runs, as I mentioned, this year. 19 at Stockton, A-ball in 2002. 20 at Dayton in 2001. So there's some consistency there. 3-0, fastball high. And Smitherman, who's drawn a walk. So back-to-back walks here for Chris Mabius. Bases juiced, and that'll bring out a visit by the pitching coach Kurt Young of the Oakland Athletics. There is action in Mesa's bullpen down the right field side.
You know, Victor, when in talking about J.T. Snow, just to take the point a step further, when people talk about the priorities of the first baseman, and certainly offense is a big deal, and will be in most cases. But I always think of when the Diamondbacks signed Mark Grayson, the winter of 2000, in December of 2000, and the media was harping all about a declining batting average, and we pointed out, and I think it was proven over the 3 years he was with the Diamondbacks, the big number with Grace wasn't the batting average, it was .995, which was his fielding percentage for his career.
Darnell Stenson took a pitch in there for strike one, so whatever Kurt Young had to say, maybe he took advantage of it. As the right-hander comes set the 0-1, fastball at the knee, strike two. Ryan Hebson of the Red Sox loosening for the Desert Dogs. Should maybe not get out of this inning. Oh, 2 on the way, swing and a miss, and Stenson goes down. So nice job on Mabius to battle back. Second strikeout of the inning to go with the 2 walks, and now he's got 2 outs and the bases loaded. And Brennan King from the Dodgers stepping in.
That's got to make Kurt Young feel pretty good because, as we said earlier in the broadcast, that's one of the things that scouts and coaches are looking for here at the Arizona Fall League is to see how these young pitchers handle difficult situations.
Pitch missed inside of King for ball one. King's 0 for 2. He has flown out, struck out. He's also drawn a walk. King pops one up down the right field line, slicing foul. Thompson's not going to get to it. It bounces on the warning track and heads towards the seats. A ball and a strike.
The sun has ducked back behind clouds again, and that breeze that was blowing out toward left center is now shifted around to right and is not quite as strong as it once was.
One ball, one strike on Brennan King from the Dodgers. .286 average coming into today's game. He drives one into right field. Thompson going back. This could clear the bases. He's at the wall. Leaps up. Can't get it. Goes off the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. Smitherman being waved around. He's going to score on a bases-clearing double off the bat of Brennan King. And make it a 12-5 deficit for Scottsdale. Here come the Scorpions again. And Brennan King just about missed a grand slam home run. Picks up 3 RBI in the process, now has 8 in the Arizona Fall League, and his 3rd double. Two outs, and that'll bring up Dallas McPherson. Takes a pitch low for ball 1.
It was a pretty nice piece of hitting by King to go the other way on that pitch and really get something behind it.
1-0 to McPherson, fastball away, 2 balls and no strikes. Well, Hebson is ready to go in the bullpen. I'm sure Tony Beasley hoping to get Mabius through 1 more out. 2-0, fastball away, 3 balls and no strikes. Mentioned Mabius was very effective in his 7th inning debut. Single, got a ground ball, double play, and a strikeout. 3-0 outside. Ball 4. 3rd walk issued by Mabius in this inning. An interesting line for the young man. First and second base, 2 outs, and that's going to be it. Beasley's going to make his way out. Mabius will be removed for a pitcher, and we'll make a move ourselves toward a break. Runners at first and second for Scottsdale. 3 runs in. They trail at 12-5. Bottom of the 8th inning. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks the sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure. To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it.
Now, Brian Hebson of the Red Sox organization has come on in relief of Chris Mabius. He's got runners at first and second base for the Scorpions. And Jeff Mathis, the catcher, the batter. Fastball outside, ball 1. Hebson 3-0 at a 2.51 earned run average. This will be his 11th game. He does have a save here in the Arizona Fall League. 14 in the third innings, 11 hits. He has struck out 11, walked 3. Breaking ball outside. 2 balls and no strikes. All of a sudden, nobody could throw a strike in the last couple of innings. The
Scottsdale club's on a 6-game winning streak, so you don't want to give them any kind of momentum.
Edson comes set 2-0. Fastball swung on it. 2 balls and a strike. Mathis is 0 for 3 and has the distinct pleasure of having grounded into 2 double plays this afternoon. The 2-1 fastball cut on missed. Mathis trying to pull an outside pitch, came up empty. 2 balls and 2 strikes. King on at second base. Bases clearing double. McPherson on at first. The 2-2 fastball popped up right side, foul territory. Going over is Johnson. He's going to run out of room, though. So Mathis will get another crack at it. 12-5. Mesa Desert Dogs leading the Scottsdale Scorpions. Bottom of the 8th inning, 2 outs. 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball almost hit him.
Well, you can see on that pitch, he just kind of opened up as he went into his delivery, and you could just tell that one wasn't going to go where it was supposed to.
Yep. So it's 3-2, 2 outs. That'll get the runners going with the pitch as Epson comes set. Payoff pitch on the way. Breaking ball pulled to the left side. Diving stop by the third baseman. Smith gets up, throws across. A one-hop throw picked up by Johnson for the 3rd out. Great defensive play by the third baseman, Corey Smith of the Indians. Saves a couple of runs and finally puts the inning to bed. 3 runs come across for Scottsdale on 2 hits. They do strand 2 runners. We've played 8, 12-5. Mesa leads it. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
This is Andy Pettit of the New York Yankees. It's never easy to stand your ground when facing the best hitters in the game, but with practice, you gain confidence. To teach values that go beyond the diamond, Major League Baseball charities and Boys and Girls Clubs of America have teamed up to bring baseball and softball to kids around the world. Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, boys and girls learn about teamwork, fair play, and respect. Because when kids believe in themselves, amazing things can happen.
Hi, this is Victor Rojas from Scottsdale, Arizona. 1 week down in the Arizona Fall League, and the action continues here on MLB.com radio on Monday, November 3rd, as the Grand Canyon Raptors visit the Scottsdale Scorpions at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. So be sure to tune us in right after that Major League Baseball Roundtable, which is a big league show, I might add. I'll be here from Scottsdale Stadium, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. If you have any emails, send them on in to radio@MLB.com as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Get the perfect gift for the baseball fan in your life at MLB Shop on MLB.com. You can purchase jackets, jerseys, caps, and clothes for men, women, and children. Get a snazzy new batting practice jersey or a classic replica jersey of your favorite team. You can even customize your jersey. Best of all, it can all be done online. Plus, the MLB Shop has baseball cards, bobblehead dolls, books, videos, and so much more. All purchases are private and secure, and the MLB Shop accepts all major credit cards. Click on the MLB Shop button at the top right of MLB.com and get that perfect gift today.
Raven, we've got bandits at 1 o'clock.
Fights on.
Engaging now.
What kind of person can handle an F-16 dueling in a Mach-speed dogfight? Why, a math teacher, of course, when she's in the National Guard and Reserve. Nearly half of today's military are members of the Guard and Reserve, but they can't do it without their employer support. If you're an employer, visit www.esgr.org and learn how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours. A public service message from ESGR and the Ad Council.
Out of the 9th inning we go. Victor Ross alongside my partner Jeff Munn. And for more play-by-play action, Jeff Munn.
All right, Victor Rojas. And in the 9th inning with the Desert Dogs holding a 12-5 lead, Dodger right-hander Tom Farmer comes out of the bullpen, and he faces Nick Swisher to lead off the 9th. The 0-1 pitch to him is low, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Swisher is 1 for 4, having reached base twice today, including a 5th inning single. Farmer delivers a pitch fouled off to the left out of play. Farmer, the 6th Scorpion pitcher used today by Rick Burleson. As we said, he is out of the Dodger organization. He's making his 7th appearance of the Fall League season, his 2nd in relief. The 1-2 delivery is a changeup, strike 3 called. And Swisher is gone on Farmer's first strikeout, and that's how we start the 9th inning. Corey Smith closed out the bottom of the 8th with a great play at third on a ball hit by Jeff Mathis. And he's up there now with the bases empty and 1 out, and a breaking pitch is low and outside. Smith on the day is 1 for 3, reached base twice, has scored twice. Smith out of the Cleveland Indians organization. Farmer delivers a pitch grounded to the left side, scooped up by the third baseman King. His throw over to first is in time, and there's 2 down. The base is empty and 2 out, and Tony Schrager will be the batter. Schrager is 1 for 3 with a first inning double and a run scored, and he also scored in the 8th after he reached on a walk from Joe Valentine. The first pitch to him is swung on, and a fly ball to center. Backing up a couple of steps is Nall. He's there, makes the catch, and just like that, the Desert Dogs are gone in the 9th. So the Scorpions have some work to do to keep their winning streak alive. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 8.5, Desert Dogs 12, Scorpions 5, and you're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball live on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mines. And I'm going to fix my bat up for him. So I'm up there the first time using the bat and pitch it through and high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
Hi, this is Victor Rojas from Scottsdale, Arizona. 1 week down in the Arizona Fall League, and the action continues here on MLB.com radio on Monday, November 3rd, as the Grand Canyon Raptors visit the Scottsdale Scorpions at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. So be sure to tune us in right after that Major League Baseball Roundtable, which is a big league show, I might add. I'll be here from Scottsdale Stadium, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. If you have any emails, send them on in to radio@MLB.com as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he's giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature. Kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved him over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game, MLB.com radio.
Order has been restored here in the 9th inning, so it's safe for Victor to come back and close it out.
Just like that, Nick Gordon hit the comebacker right to Hebson, the pitcher, for 1 out. 1 pitch, 1 out to start off the bottom of the 9th inning. 12-5. It's the Desert Dogs leading. As we'll have a pinch hitter. Eric Bruntlett was the scheduled hitter. Josh Kroger of the Arizona Diamondbacks will step in, a pinch hit here, trying to start something. Mentioned Rick Burleson likes to prolong a game as long as possible.
Guy's got a 6-game winning streak going.
It is the Arizona Fall League.
Point, counterpoint.
First pitch is in there for strike 1. And Kroger this year in the AFL, 264 average. No home runs, 7 RBIs. He does have a couple of doubles and 1 triple. Takes a pitch in there for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Left-handed batter, swings, and chops foul the off-speed pitch. And quickly in the hole at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Edson Wise, the 1-2, down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tom Farmer and Brian Shackelford, the two most effective pitcher for the Scottsdale Scorpion. Unfortunately, T.J. Nall gave up 7 runs in the third of an inning to start this one off. Fastball missing inside, and the count is run full to 3-2.
And Dave Gill wasn't too bad after he settled down a little bit in the first inning.
Line shot over the shortstop into left center field. Could go for extra bases. The left fielder, Scott, goes over, cuts it off. And what do you know, Kroger on board with a 1-out double. That'll take us to the top of the order in Scott Hairston.
Kroger's a young man, Victor, that Tommy Jones very, very excited about, but they're trying very hard to just move him as slowly as they can through the system. He spent time last year both at A, or this last season, both at A and AA ball.
As it comes set, first pitch to Hairston, pulls one foul up the third base side. No balls and a strike. Scott Hairston getting the start at second base. And this afternoon is 1 for 3, including a walk. Did have a couple of stolen bases in that first inning, stole second and third. Singleton scored in the 8th inning. Nobody holding Kroger on at second. The 0-1 in there, right down the pipe with the fastball. No balls and 2 strikes. James Loney awaits on deck. Epson trying to close it out and give Charlie Zink his second win of the AFL. Hairston pops it up center field. Swisher going over to his right. Camps under, makes the catch for out number 2. That ball not hit deep enough for Kroger to advance, so he stays at second base. It'll be up to James Loney to keep things going.
Hairston looked like he got a little crossed up. That was not a very fluid swing as he poked at that ball. It almost looked as if he got about halfway through that swing and realized he was doing something he didn't want to do. Tried to adjust and just got under it.
Yep. Loney, 0 for 1. He has walked 3 times, scored twice, and he has struck out. Swings? No, he doesn't. Thought about swinging, held up, took a pitch outside, ball 1. Loney getting the start over at first base. Casey Kochman from the Anaheim Angels. Pretty much the main first baseman for Scottsdale, sent home because of a hamstring injury. And that's the one thing that has hampered Kochman throughout his career, both at the amateur level while in high school as well as the professional level. 2-0 the count on the Dodgers farmhand. A left-hand hitter himself. 2-0, pops up left side. Could be the ball game. Smith, the third baseman, going out. Bynum. It's going to be Smith, the third baseman, in foul territory, making the catch, and that seals the victory for the Mesa Desert Dogs, as they win it by the final of 12-5. 12 runs, 11 hits, no errors. 6 men left on base for the Desert Dogs. And 5 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, 6 left on. For the Scottsdale Scorpions, Mesa now 12-12 as they continue to lead the National Division. The Scorpions now 12-12 themselves. They remain in second place, and at the very least will stay 3.5, could be 4.5 games, depending on what happens later on today as far as other action in Arizona Fall League. Jeff Munn, thanks for joining me. It was a pleasure.
You got it, brother.
Makes me want to count the days until spring training.
Me too.
Well, nice job by you, and I'll see you next Friday.
You got it, pal. I'll be here.
You got it, big man. Final once again, 12-5 Mesa Desert Dogs pick up the victory this afternoon against the Scottsdale Scorpions. We'll be back at it again Monday afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, right here from Scottsdale Stadium. The Grand Canyon Raptors taking on these same Scottsdale Scorpions. For Jeff Munn and for Dan Gentile back in our New York studios, I'm Victor Ross. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on Monday.